know, E2 Deku's been a very tenured player and just really sticking. Had a bit of a villain arc with the Yumi 9, but back to their normal self. We pulled them out from the dark. And now, going against Pat Neko has been pretty up and coming as of late, so I'm really excited to see how they'll be able to manage the chaos that is
Yeah, definitely going to be a little bit of a difficult match for sure, but we're already started off with violence here. E2 Deku getting that counter at 5B, but not fully converting off it. Gets the grab, however, yeah, the Ruby's going to be blasting in here in this corner.
Going for an interesting looking situation, unfortunately, and maybe a misinput. So back to a little bit of a neutral situation. Goes underneath the Yang 6P and just trying to navigate around the chaos that is Yang and be able to get an opening.
Yeah, very impressive usage of the drive there. Pat Neko going to be getting this corner position and hitting E2 Deku here. Going to be putting her in that red hell zone. So going to be popping the semblance just right here. Got to be a little bit careful here. Yeah, E2 Deku getting the opportunity to mash, but a bad assist call and running into the 4B is going to lead Pat Neko to blast that Yang away before she's that huge of a threat.
Excellent work and good navigation so far. Just being able to skirt around the issue that is a semblance Yang. Slowly trying to mount this, slowly trying to mount this offense pretty well so far, but Deku Solo Ruby getting a nice grab and only here, but unfortunate draw.
Yeah, Pat Neko going to be using the opportunity to get the pressure in, not deterred at all, but E2 Deku just DPing straight out of the situation. Noel looking really low, but you know what? Just go in with a cross-up and unfortunately a drop on a combo. A dangerous DPS. Pat Neko keeping up the aggression on the Noel. A very risky play, but it's looking like the play that is going to win them this first game of the night here.
Really excellent work by Pat Neko. I really like that they were just, especially with whenever Yang was on point, really just kind of use Noelle's mobility just navigate around Yang. Not really dealing with a lot of her. I'd say to the benefit of Pat Neko, you know, 4B can be caught with a low or just any of like a lot of the forward advancing moves caught low. So it's really I think Pat Neko did a pretty good job at just being able to abuse the fact that Yang doesn't really have a lot of like long reaching low. Maintain their pressure and just go on the offensive. Fight the arm.
Yeah, like, Noelle, for all her flaws as a character, it can be really difficult sometimes in order to adjust to some of the things that you have to have. You have to have a very different mentality going in here. But you know what? E2 Deku is just not deterred by that at all. Just going in with the aggression. Just trying to whip these 4B or 5Bs here or there. Trying to get in, but gets slapped around by Mukoto. And yeah, was not able to beat the burst, but a good 4B on Pat Neko's side. Going to be getting this counter hit conversion.
Trying to cash out a little early, bringing the Makoto. We didn't really see the Makoto at all last match, but now it's their time to shine. They might be able to kill off this room.
Yeah, that was a really excellent frame trap right there. Going to be losing that Ruby 2v1 situation with two very high health characters, but E2 Deku just DPing right out of the situation. But a great 2C just to avoid the overhead. E2 Deku, once again, classic with the aggression, not deterred in the slice, but what you do and gets this very solid hit.
Cashing out as much damage as possible before the Resonance timer runs out. Going to get probably a nice 9k on the Makoto. At just about in danger zone right now and gets hit, but oh my god, the unfortunate angle of the burst in the well just not working out, and E2 Deku is just getting the offense ramped up.
Yeah, it's really difficult to deal with, but you know what, just DP him straight out of the situation, fires back with the 2B, unfortunately not able to confirm. Pat Neko's character is looking a little uncomfortable, but gets the cross up low right there. Due to the start, I don't think this will kill, especially since he's 18k, but it's going to put the one-punch scenario. However, that is a semblance being popped.
Try to hit the brakes on the offense a little bit. Counter hit! Oh no, the 5B coming out, and this, I don't think this is going to be a dead Noel. Just actually, yeah. And I'll have to solo Makoto now.
It was a little uncomfortable bursting out on some of those points there, and will be playing it safe here with the solo Makoto. Does get the DP bait though. Pat Neko, a little bit of a stop in their momentum, but regardless, was able to take game 2. E2 Deku is kind of gonna style on with the Noel, honestly.
Looking a little worse for wear. I mean, I think what Pat Neko is doing pretty well is just playing the Noel. Like I said, I'd say comparing like button for button. And Yang has a stubbier buttons, although you know there are some armor on them. So Pat Neko's been really good about just kind of staying outside of the scary range of Yang mostly.
And this burst punish will be getting Noelle into this corner position once again. Pat Neko has been really good on the offensive side of things, but just gets push blocked out of the situation. Tries to do some type of anti-air, but gets slapped by the Yang instead. Maintained all that pressure, baits the burst to E2 Deku's back in his zone.
Yeah, looking a lot more characteristic of how E2 Deku normally plays and just running their offense. Get a nice Oki situation, just gets opened up by the force. Pat Neko looking a little worse for wear here. Not going to kill this fight yet, but for situation.
Yeah, and a good DP avoiding that anti-air grab setup here, but Makoto's looking a little worse for wear, but the super punch is going to hit both characters DHC in order to get into Noelle safely. This is looking like an even game suddenly.
Looking really solid so far. Pat Neko just trying to go in, but gets stuffed out by a JB and a 6P in the back. But yeah, E2 Deku ready for it now. Just really making good use of just clipping Noelle out of that fort.
And sets up the sandwich scenario. Didn't quite convert off it, but you know, in this game, sometimes you gotta block a mix into another mix, and E2 Deku looking a lot more clean that game, but Pat Neko clearly not out of it yet.
Yeah, even with the all things considered, like these matches so far have been hard fought by both sides, really. So it's just a nice back and forth. But I'm curious to see if E2 Deku. Well, the storm as Pat Neko, who is currently on set point. You know, I one of the biggest adjustments was seeing E2 Deku starting the pressure with a low just to try to catch out that Noelle fort.
Yeah, you know, that 4B can be locked up by the low, but that is what the Noelle 2B is for, so definitely going to see Pat Neko cycle between a lot more options, but just push blocking away. Sets up the sandwich, but gets immediately push blocked out. And yeah, just maintaining all that pressure with the projectiles, but does not quite beat the burst.
They're just trying to make their way forward here, and I'm surprised that 4P actually got stuffed out. That button has, like, head info properties sometimes. But it's still looking good. Pat Neko just putting on the pressure right now.
They took on the throw and able to catch E2 Deku slack in there with that 5A check. Makoto does actually have some pretty scary offensive projectiles despite all her flaws, but it will just get it push block immediately, and the instant burst is getting red too. Not a huge amount of damage on the Noelle, but this is looking quite dangerous.
And pretty spooky here. Almost death for Noelle right there, but thankfully didn't have enough time, and oh no. DP, not enough to keep it alive, but just gets caught by the 4P right there, and not looking too good for Pat Neko, and they're all down to Makoto level 2 Reggie, so a little bit of a tough mountain to climb, but still definitely doable.
Yeah, ooh, good evasion so far. E2 Deku being very patiently push blocks just in time there, but Pat Neko not getting anything. Oh no, unfortunately, I think they were going for some type of, like, lead setup there, and just Ruby's fast run speed was able to actually hit the grab. Not going to be getting anything too big off the situation, just getting DP'd, but this is one touch for Pat Neko right now.
Too good. Not ready for the cross-up on the other side, and E2 Deku taking their second game on the board, bringing this. Just again, these matches are just, you know, they're not a blowout for either side. It's just they're both being hard fought, and one big decision. One of these plays into game 5 here. It's there have been adjustments made on E2 Deku's side, and I think at this point it's up to Pat Neko to stabilize and see if they can take out this set.
Yeah, Noelle has been the star of the show for the games. Pat Neko won, and clearly seeing kind of the trajectory of the matches, she has been quite mitigated, especially off that anti-air 2B hit. Yeah, this is going to be back into the corner you go. This is where it gets really threatening, and the double overhead is what it is.
Being able to bring in the Makoto, solid trade, but the armor on the JB just stuffs out attempts to put out the orb, and E2 Deku slowly but surely making their offensive momentum known, and really making their way in, but just and Neko looking a little worse for wear, and again getting opened up, and I think this is Noelle.
Yeah, this is the best E2 Deku has looked so far. Doesn't even need a proc the cross combo. Yeah, English is very hard, but regardless, that is going to be 4 bars plus spent. Going to be ensuring that 2v1 position with the solo Makoto with not a lot of resources immediately gets mixed up, and Pat Neko had a valiant attempt there with the first couple games they won, but E2 Deku coming back here with the reverse sweep.
Excellent to E2 Deku making, as you said, making the reverse sweep. And just, I think it's also just a showcase of the tenure of E2. He was down 2 games, but that didn't determine the slightest in stage. At Neko, a valiant effort, but not out of it just yet. They're just going. We can see them. I know it's the first game of the night. There's still enough time to make things happen. Make their way to the bracket. Moving along pretty well.
Indeed, indeed. Good luck to everyone that has been sent down to the losers, but right now we will be getting on to our next match between Detective Crow and Cool Master JG. I don't know why that name was so hard for me to read.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting. I remember correctly. Cool Master JG has... I want to say they played Chie. I can't remember.
My brain is telling me Chie Adachi, but like I'm not entirely sure if that is the case. We'll see when they pop into the lobby. Oh no, Yang Yumi.
It's funny because we were right about the Yang, but Yang. This is starting to look a lot more.
Okay, yeah.
But on the other hand, Detective Crow has a myriad of teams available. Has a pretty nice rotation of Akatsuki, Adachi, Magna. And recently, it looks like they're locking in this. They have been dabbling lately with Akatsuki, Naoto Shiro, and it's shaping out to be pretty interesting. They have double-sided unblockables, and they have a lot of win cons that can be pretty egregious. Not to mention just being a well-rounded team.
Yeah, it's a weird team comp on the surface because both characters are generally what I would label under the support category, but like they kind of enable each other in such a way where they can really like not be brought down by that quote unquote like support label. And like you said, access to unblockables, great assists on both sides. It can be a really weird team to like see operate, but it is a very strong team going up against Chie Yang, which is another kind of like it's a strong but like kind of abnormal team comp. Both Chie and Yang are generally more point-centric characters, but like Chie has a pretty strong assist kit overall, damage output's very much there, and I'm sure it has a lot of good lockdown. So this is going to be a battle of some pretty like I said, pretty interesting team comps, but overall strong.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Cool Master can put out with this. I'd imagine with a lot of teams with Yang, you want to run them and be able to, you have that win con of just being able to nasty. So I feel like it's a mix between, can you get your momentum going with the Shiro or Kachi, or can Cool Master really just put on the offense and just maintain that momentum and not let them breathe.
See how the dynamic goes here in this round starter. We're started off with violence on both sides. Bitatsu going to be hitting that Chie. Goes for the overhead check, but not able to convert off. It hasn't even been 10 seconds, and there's already been so many things going on.
Detective Go going for an early mark. And looks like Cool Master bringing the Yang just because they don't want to deal with it, but gets punished on the Burning Gold. Looks like Detective Go tried to go for something fancy, but just not working out, and just no one wants to block. Everyone wants to press block. I understand.
Yeah, unfortunately dropping the combo here. I believe that Chie was marked, so could have killed them off right there, but opting to set up the JC setup there. Yeah, I can't do that against Akatsuki, but gets slapped immediately by the Shirogane. And yeah, this is going to be some chaos here. Baits out the DP there. That should be a kill.
Looks like it able to get a safe semblance pop as well, and that goes down to Akatsuki, but Naoto S still has Flurry on the board, but just runs in with the 5B, and they're not going to kill, not enough near the canceling super, but it's looking pretty terrifying right now. Oh my
Oh
god,
my
this character
God!
sucks.
Oh, that was a Shiro GP moment. Like, God. So, Shiro GP, I think is a good anti-projectile option. It is not a very good DP because sometimes that just happens. It has really weird interactions with a lot of physical moves. And yeah, Detective Crow's like, Shirogane ain't for me. I'm going, like, that was the fastest swap possible over to Adachi Ragna.
I understand completely. You know, Detective Crow has been working with that team, but just, you know, this is like one of their bread and butter. This is definitely more of their comfort zone. They're already looking.
Yeah, gonna be started here with the Ragnar pressure. Goes for the empty jump into the Gauntlet Hades, trying to bait out a burst here, but yeah, that's gonna be a kill on the Chie. Less than 15 seconds on the clock there. The Detective Pro, once again, getting that very chaotic, very explosive gameplay here. Overhead into the supers, I am sure, and that was going to be it there for Cool Master J.
You know, I think the best way I can put, if I were to put emotions behind actions, Detective Crow is. That's the only way I can describe the way he was playing that match.
Yeah, there was pure anger and pure vitriol in that set, and it was or in that game. You know what? Maybe there's a reason for it. Cool Master JG, he's got the Devil's number as his win count.
Must purge them of the devil, and oh my goodness, the offense is starting once again, getting clipped by the Gauntlet Hades, and just Cool Master can't really get a point of momentum started here, but trying now.
Yeah, the combos, things are happening, buttons are being pressed, a burst is coming out on that EX, and the Yang unfortunately getting a hit there. I think she's healthy enough to survive this, but just barely. Nah, she's gone.
Which is a little too much, but getting the just pressing 5A on wake up and going to employ some of the chip, only level resist, so not a lot, but still trying to make their way in.
Yeah, just trades on the thing, runs up the Agyasa, no fear at all. She gets the air punish on the DP. I have no idea what is going on, but Cool Master's Resonance will be running out.
And he keeps the pressure up and just gets overled by a command grab. I don't think this is Curtain's just quite yet, but it'll be pretty close. Yeah, unfortunately with that drop, but Cool Master wanting to press button on that little bit of a scramble with that drop. Unfortunately, not working out in their favor. And Detective Crow games now.
Yeah, and like, what a insane matches these have been. Detective Crow, one of the most well-known crackheads in the community, proving why that is the case. Just, it's kind of interesting because, you know, I would definitely say that Chie and Yang are very match-heavy characters. So they're just trying to match Detective Crow's energy, and like to some degree, it's been working out, especially with this interaction here. But unfortunately, not going to be anything too substantial.
Looking too good. That Gauntlet Hades has been working. Oh, it didn't work that time, but Master slowly trying to navigate around the chaos and make something happen here. But AZO, the neutral tool, and it looks like that'll be a dead Yang. Not just quite yet, actually.
Yeah, I don't think they can punish there. Try to go for the 5B in order to catch the jump it, but not quite clipping. Yang's looking very low here. This is a dangerous position. Wakes up with a parted scissors, and somebody watch Master
you're
Chief.
A victim.
What the frick?
You're a victim.
Somebody watch Master Chief. Jesus Christ.
Oh, unfortunate. Getting caught by the second hit, the Gauntlet Hades sealed their fate, and Detective Crow takes a 3-1.
Yeah, that was insane, to say the least.
That was, yeah, ever since that first game, you know, like, I'd imagine Cool Master was like, oh sweet, you know, got a game on the board, I'm feeling good, and then something just snapped in Detective Crow and just said, nope, you're not getting another one. You're not getting another one, I'm ending this quickly. Like,
You don't stand a chance.
like, actually, though, just, damn it, and then just went in.
I can't. God, I don't know what game Crow's been playing, but he actually just he just took off the sunglasses, dude. He activated the damage buff and just went crazy.
Just completely just a borderline dismantlement of what we saw in a match there. Just if you need to talk about it, Detective, I'm sure you have channels. I don't think you need to take it out on someone like that again.
That honestly, good stuff to Cool Master J for like being able to kind of keep up with the momentum there. Unfortunately, definitely got caught up in the chaos a little too much, but regardless, it was a good attempt nonetheless. But we're gonna be moving on to another side of the bracket. Gonna be Sony-kun versus Shinjiryu.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one. Sonic-kun has been on a tear in these WNF brackets as of lately, and Shinjiryu, we haven't seen them in a while, to be honest. So it's a nice. We'll see if they've been, training in the mountains, seeing how well they've been. Just to, we'll see how much time they've spent, really like refining their craft, because they do have a pretty unique team. They named nines. So I'm curious to see if time away has allowed them to their team or just discover something.
Yeah, it's a team comp that I think is very much accentuated by the fact that Nine is like one of the most self-sufficient characters in terms of how you play her. She has her needs, and she has I guess maybe she doesn't necessarily have her needs. She has her wants. And to be quite frank, Linnea does not really provide a lot from that. But Nine is such a solid fundamental character that like you could really make use of any type of assist. Shinju has kind of proven in the past, the team does have some pretty nice setups overall. It's just about being creative about the options that you do have access to. And Nine on top of that is a pretty good supporting character overall for a lot of the cast. Linnea is no exception. So we'll see how they deal with Sony-kun, who has been the effectively, I think, the star of online BBTAG tournaments. They enter tournaments, and like by far they are the person to have to beat. So this is going to be a tough matchup for Shinju overall.
Yeah, I'd imagine with the teams available to them, Linnea is, by all means, I'll be pretty blunt. Not the greatest character by any means. A bit of a struggle in a lot of aspects. We'll see if Shinju can just really make her shine, especially with a 9 in the back, just being able to offense against someone as tenured as Son.
Yeah, we'll have to see the adaptations that come out here. Yeah, starting off with a Linnea start. I know this is their kind of generally preferred position, but Nine definitely going to be the one that has to carry a lot of the weight in terms of the mashups, at least. One of the better characters against Heart for sure, but we're started off here just trying to get some Kugas. Activates the CC and able to actually snipe out the Heart. A very good start.
Able to get a little bit of damage on the S as well. And unfortunately, they put in the corner, but Shinju picking some good places to just press some blends and get out of dodge. But Sonic-kun getting some pressure started here. What a nice Kuga snipe is. And Shinju looking pretty good in these opening moments.
Yeah, just getting push blocked out. Sonic-kun does not have a lot of meter to have to deal with and gets a good sandwich scenario, but not quite getting anything off it. Gets the Heart in relatively safely. Shinju trying to make something happen here, but Gus gets opened up low.
And clipped on legs, not a good start because this is where the momentum can start for Sonic-kun, and getting a nice opening. Tried to read the burst, but no dice from Shinju. Being good so far here and just trying to navigate out. But gets hit by a 236B and it's all to solo 9.
Yeah, and that DP punish is going to prove very vital here for Sony-kun. For as knowing as 9 can be in terms of getting the defensive side of things, doesn't necessarily have the most reliable DP as we are seeing here as Shinju having a really great start, but Sony-kun able to pick up the momentum, kind of proving they just need one hit.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate thing because there were a lot of semblances of Shinju offense and just unfortunately, Heart is a very like momentum. I'd say Effectively, with how many safe jumps and how many mixes, it very much can be categorized into the. It can be seen as a vortex character in a lot of situations. It's really hard to get out of there once she gets like.
Yeah, but not gonna be started off with the heart point this time. Going to be going with the S and gets a solid hit on both characters, but not ready for that happy birthday confirm. Yeah, not a lot of confirms here, but a good amount of momentum. Excellent block on that cross up setup here, but the 9 getting out to play a little bit more. Didn't really get to see a lot of the 9 gameplay coming out here and activating the CC, just trying to get some pressure going, but Sonic remaining steadfast in their defense there and getting rewarded here with this hit.
Really excellent showcase of patience with Sonic, who's able to get some momentum going. Zobe instant overhead and just immediately bursts out to not. Unfortunately, 2P was a little too far to connect, and Shinju trying to reset back to neutral and make their way in.
Just throwing out projectiles here that really plays in neutral here, but Sonic getting a better end of the deal, forcing out a burst and a nice air confirm here coming up from the 9, but no full conversion, not able to get it. The 9 slowly creeping forward. Oh, finds a nice place to get out there though. That might be dead. No, yeah, S did not come back in time, but gets the kill immediately.
Just solo Nine here, not the character ideally that Shinju probably wants in solo character, but getting clipped right there with the 236B and not going to kill this quite yet, but it's just one more knockdown situation. Oh, didn't even get it, and it's clipped at a 6P unfortunately, and Sonic went up 2-0.
Yeah, the momentum has been going for the past 2 games. It's always like a relatively like solid start, I think, for Shinju. They're able to get that space to kind of do like the Linne Kugas or like just like space out some 9 buttons, but like as soon as like Sonic-kun's really able to get that one offensive hit, even if Shinju's able to escape, it's like they don't seem like they're being able to recover from that pressure that Sonic-kun has placed on them, which is kind of just an aspect of Sonic-kun's playstyle that you have to be very aware of and be ready to adapt to.
It's Sonic-kun, like, especially at the beginning, he's just kind of letting Shinju, just allowing Shinju to showcase what he can do on offense, and just slowly just find an opening. And unfortunately, Shinju isn't able to really get a solid recovery off of it, but this could be a good start at the beginning, but a DP will stop some of that off.
Yeah, it gets clipped low there by the S. Going to be a nice pivotal corner-to-corner combo here. And tries to bait out the burst, but actually just gets it for the raw 6P. Not going to be falling for that burst bait. However, Linne just like got yeeted to the other dimension there.
Unfortunate, but Shinju getting Linne relatively safely. He has to start making some things happen here because 9 is not looking very healthy right now. Still has a good amount of health to recover. And Sonic-kun just running through the hills, but a good good opportunity to press a 4A and getting a lot of momentum on the board here. I think Shinju can fully capitalize on it.
Yeah, it goes into the sword super here. I believe 9 has a multi-target DHC2. I think we're getting maybe a little bit of conversion off it. No, but putting Sonic-kun in a very uncomfortable situation, but busts out with the super there. And nice block in the overhead. Little dangerous to keep her out there, but not going punish at all. But a TRM is going to be allowing Linne to get cornered, comboed here. And now everyone in this game, I think, is one touch.
Oh, and gets the read on the burst, and it's 9 is going down also so Linne. I don't imagine Shinju's happy about that. And just a bust out DP just to try and see if they can make something happen. Sonic-kun making it 3-0 over Shinju.
Yeah, a very valiant effort nonetheless, despite the set count. But yeah, the overwhelming Heart S oppression once again taking another victim here. Is Sonic-kun going to be moving on to the next side of the bracket to fight Ultimate Lotad.
Yep. Like, up next, we will be having like Detective Crow versus Flicker, if I.
We'll have Crow versus Merolites.
Oh, the match already.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
moving along pretty steadily in this bracket, and yeah, winners quarters went by pretty quickly. As I'm looking at this bracket here, and every match there went 3. Moving on to the winners semis, and we're having Detective Crow coming back up at a. As far as I know, Merle, they did get top 8 at Evo.
Yeah, they did. They were in the top 8 side of the bracket. Unfortunately, got put into 7th, but nonetheless, that was a very big bracket with a lot of impressive people. Really got to show off their the strength of their team, and a bit more of a casual environment here, but nonetheless, I'm sure they are going to bring out some very impressive Neo Hilda gameplay question mark, depending on what they feel.
I think that's like the team that we primarily know them, but they do have a myriad of teams. We did see that they have if I remember correctly, they do have a set television. What a bump of their characters in a lot more, if need. We'll see what they come up with. Really, just someone that we've known primarily from. Again, really impressive that they made it to top 8 of an Evo bracket, just showcasing support and how hungry some of the people.
Yeah, definitely one of the people to look out for now, and especially in the future as they get their teams trained up. We just gotta wait for them here. Detective Crow currently locked in with the Blitz Tank Hakumen. I don't know if they're going to actually play this or like mess around with it or not, but I'll like to see what they have cooking for it.
It'll be interesting if they can something off with. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. See if they're locked in, but they're teetering on the edge.
Yeah, just gotta wait for them. It's we're moving on pretty quickly, as we said. We're already in the winner semifinal side of the bracket here. Kind of looking at the loser side of the bracket, running a little bit slower, but Red Like Roses taking it 3-2 over Pat Neko. Currently have Fish Liquor versus Red Like Roses, Kari Suma versus Churug. We had a discussion about how to pronounce this name before we started, and quite frankly, I don't think my dyslexic ass can handle it.
We've had a discussion. I'm going to live relatively peacefully and assume that it is. And I hope I'm not butchering it too much, but please let us know if there's a specific way you want us to pronounce it. We're all at a loss.
Yeah. Regardless, Coolmaster JG going up against Redix, and HBK Man versus Amethyst Gray. So definitely some upsets going on the winner side of the bracket. But regardless, I'm sure those people are fighting for their lives down there in the loser side. But we still waiting for Merlity. In the meantime, as a reminder, we do have a Bachelorita. Ether, would you like to do the honors?
Yeah, so we do have a Matcherino, exclamation point, Matcherino, Matcherini, Master Chief, Macchiato. I think... God, I'm losing track. But anyway, there's a Matcherino available to us. You can go there, click the link, and donate as much as you like anywhere. I believe if you really want to, you can donate a cent. But yeah, if you're feeling generous enough to donate any amount, well, it'll be much appreciated. And if you leave a message for us to read, you can, provided that it doesn't get a scam. Our voices are for sale for the next two-ish hours. So, make use of this now.
Yeah, we appreciate any and all direct contributions, no matter how small they are. But yeah, we're just still waiting for Manatee versus assuming they're playing their main teams. I think that's definitely going to be I think on the surface, I think it's kind of a Merrily T kind of favorite matchup. Just because like Adachi is one of those characters that doesn't particularly match well up against Hilda, and like Neo is pretty tricky overall, so it can be kind of hard for I feel like Detective Crow's characters to kind of contest both of them. But you know, Detective Crow was kind of crazy, and like more objectively, like the damage output on Crow's teams are a lot higher than Meryl's.
Yeah, it's definitely going to. I'd say both of them are going to try and run. No matter who can navigate a little better, who can get that plant. Like you mentioned, there is a bit of a discrepancy between the two where Detective Crow's team needs less openings and less hits. Really, definitely can't put you in the blender if provided that they run. But it's just death by 1,000 paper cuts, and it is not fun for whoever's team.
Yeah, it's like, we did get a taste of it in during the Evo bracket. It's just like a very a very mix heavy team, has a lot of good space control, and like it is quite the pain to have to deal with, especially how many layers they can end up implementing.
Yeah, it's
Right, so unfortunately, Merlit is asking to be DQ'd the losers because they're having controller issues. So, is what it is.
been unfortunate. Hardware issues to include. So, hopefully, they can find a replacement or figure out what's going on. They can come back around and make the way out of the losers bracket. On the other hand, we going to the other side of winter semis where we had WNF we haven't seen yet, but they had a pretty impressive record so far. Roses and 3-0 against E2 Deku. They've been on quite a roll, but this momentum could be stopped.
Yeah, and I believe the last time that this matchup played out, it was very heavily Sonny Kun's favor, and a pretty pivotal point in the bracket as well. So Lotad, a Aurier, and likewise Enjoyer, I think they definitely lean more towards the Aurier side of things, judging by their Star GG clan tag, but nonetheless very proficient at both those characters, and one of the most solid, like kind of like old. I would say like the whole grand team of like BBTAG like 2.0 history, definitely one of the people that has been consistent in terms of the early days and has really proven that they are capable of some great things. I haven't seen them play competitively too much of recently, but I know that they have still been consistent on the game and they're ready to show what the Aurier can do.
It'll be interesting because if there's I imagine with how tenured Lotad is, I know they have several scenes that they like to. VA has been, as far as I know, a relatively good character amidst all the teams. I'm curious to see what team they'll bring, and I imagine that depending on the matchup, they'll. Looks like they're going for the patented Aurier Batista. Really solid team, really strong. Both sides, really. You know, Tomoe, where are you?
I miss Tomo. I miss Tomoe. It's only been like Tomo B, Tomo C, Tomo D everywhere. Seriously, yeah, this is the team that they were probably most well known for. In my opinion, in terms of synergy, I think this is the best like Aurier team. Yumi is stronger, but regardless, let's get onto the game here. That was some disturbing amount of patience on both sides.
The defense on the axe switch so far, that looked to me that definitely looked like an attempt to go for a TK2 on J2 and just trying to feel each other out right now. No one really wants to make a huge committal attempt to go in and just neutral right now.
Yeah, swaps back over the Batista, maybe want to use her projectiles to do some form of stall breaking here, but Sony-kun just kind of playing patiently too. Like, Sony-kun, like, despite like how aggressive they can be, is a pretty defensive player overall, but not working out here, is able to get smacked. Very good patience there on Lotad, able to kind of avoid a lot of the hard shenanigans, and yeah, you know, like, Ori Batista not well known to do a lot of damage, so not a lot of health lost despite that happy birthday, but nice utilization of the 4P, going to be getting a cross up there with the spin into the JB as Sony-kun kind of on the back foot.
Pressure's on. He's trying to go for a reversal and goes in for a burst, and yeah, just to make sure the heart survives, because are in the red, be healing some of that back end. Lotad just really just picking and choosing a lot of solid moments to go in or just hit the brakes on their offense. Sonic-kun's falling right into it mostly.
Yeah, hits the delay 2-1 for A, unfortunately not able to swap into the Batista in time to keep it safe. Wakes up with the super, but yeah, good, excellent DP, recognizing that Aurier will take up the hitbox for that there. A little bit of a dangerous call here on the S. There is 2 meters available, so the next call on the S might lead to death here with the super. And yeah, Aurier, though, looking really bad as well.
Unfortunately, going down there and Lotad's Aurier gets, or Batista gets clipped low. This is the momentum that they needed. Going for that egregious low right there. Trying to keep the pressure up, and it's all up to Soul Batista. Definitely doable, level 4 Resonance, but it's not looking too great as Lotad gets opened up here.
Yeah, just trying to run out some of that Resonance time here. He's very patiently, nice tech on the throw, however, trying to just set up a wall to get this heart out, but it's so hard. A nice punish there. Goes to the super. Batista does a little amount of damage, but will be enough to steal out the heart. Brings in the S. I didn't even realize, but Rampage time is available here, so going to be stopping that here with that Resonance call.
It's clipped low, but unfortunately, Lotad got caught flinching, and Sonic-kun ends first game. Taking that first.
Yeah, and definitely seeing a bit of a shift in terms of playstyle from Lotad, kind of adapting to the team, but not only the player that he is fighting against. Lotad by no means is like a hyper aggressive player at all, but deciding to play the matchup very slowly, which is, you know, why that match took so long. Kind of trying to match Sony-kun's pace, doesn't want to overcommit to anything, to kind of get into the heart zones, and wants to make sure that they're always being covered by some type of projectile in order to properly approach. So it's been a very good adaptation so far. Let's see if they're able to take a game goal.
Good so far. Clipping the S at the beginning there, slowly just bringing heart into this corner. Pressure's on, and yeah, just try to read that they go for maybe a TK J214A again, but working out. Momentum is starting to shift in Lotad's favor pretty heavily.
Yeah, it's just going to require one touch. Swaps back over into the S, relatively scot-free, but does do the bust out super in order to get out of that situation. An excellent 2B call, going to allow S to get this DP conversion combos, but we're going straight back to neutral. Both of them popping their respective cross combos, but Lotad is looking like they're getting a better deal of it.
Excellent navigation around the DP, and going to be a really solid punish from moments. And just, yeah, again, the momentum shift is looking so good right now. Which will whip out the 2C, but still looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, an excellent call out, using that CC, getting a happy birthday too, and just like that, the defensive playstyle from Lotad really paying off there, as they were able to catch Sony-kun lagging there and put one very solid game on the board.
Really excellent work. We're kind of seeing the shifts and the adjustments that Lotad can make, but whether, you know, they want to go on the offense or play a little defensively, and just, you know, capitalizing on some of the reckless mistakes that Sonic-kun is making, just trying to Lotad wants to play.
Yeah. And one of the big things you do have to look out for in terms of Aurier, and especially Lotad, because they kind of one of the proprietors of this is that 4P is really stupid. Like, quite frankly, when you call CC, Aurier becomes completely intangible, and Lotad really likes to abuse it, and they still get the hitbox of it. So it's something that's going to be really painful for Sonic Boom.
Not looking too good in these opening moments. Heart gets opened up pretty nicely and being taken to the corner. Again, yeah, just... I think a lot of the Aurier players I've seen, Lotad is just, as you mentioned, just making really good use of that force.
Yeah, goes in with the 2-1-4-A. Thankfully, Aurier actually been able to body block there, preventing Batista from getting anything going. Good blocks on the overheads here, but Lotad trying to maintain the possession. Sure. But Sodekun is as well here, just trying to read a DP bait. Nothing is coming out here for Lotad as they're able to get the hit and able to get the punish there on the S-Burst.
Fortunately, that looked like a max range Sushi war, so it wasn't able to get a lot of damage off of it, but just getting a nice DP punish and not going to kill this quite yet. S is still pretty healthy right now, but it's just the momentum is just so heavily Lotad's favor.
Yeah, health totals are looking a little iffy, but when it's constant aggression here and there, that was a disgusting mix. Try to go for some type of safe setup there, but it just keeps on going here as an excellent active swap, going to be baiting out the SDP. Gets put in the sandwich scenario, does not block low, has the 4 bars on deck, and that should be it here for Sonic Boom's Heart. Going to be putting another game on the board.
Really nice... really nice navigation from Lotad so far, because the way I'm seeing Sonic play right now, like a little uncharacteristic, but it's just due to the unfamiliarity and just we're seeing Sonic looking very uncomfortable in a lot of these situations. Lotad is just alternatively very comfortable. So let's see if Sonic can make some adjustments. They did get a game on the. They can just make last stretch adjustments to make something happen. They are risking being sent to the losers bracket.
Yeah, definitely just been really difficult to have to deal with Lotad's constant aggression here, and already starting off really strong, but a good backhomming going to be preventing a lot of it. Just trying to weave it in and out of Heart's effective ranges here. And not quite getting a lot of solid hits here. Lotad's defense being really great so far, but once again, no solid hits on either side, and calling out the assist on both is going to be allowing Lotad to get some stuff going, but laser fire back. Like, both of them just like picking up after each other's pieces, not letting one of them get a solid advantage either way.
The way like they're playing right now is that they're trying to make the other flinch, and gets opened up right now, and really scary navigation going around.
Yeah, just trying to utilize those 4P. Really like how, both of them kind of weaving in and out their other characters, but does get this throw. Does not have enough time to build up that 4th bar, so this won't be a kill, but it will be that one-touch situation here for the S here, and does not even need to spend any meter in order to kill her off, but that's a... Yeah, it was not going to be stable enough to actually get a full confirm here, but Solo Aurier going to be coming in, and was able to call out that 2-1-4-A, putting Ultimate Lotad's Aurier in a very difficult position.
Going throw break, not popping resist just quite yet. Wants to find an opportunity to do so. Looks like that's it, but just a 5C will be clocking the dome. Also, Aurier trying to make something happen, but unfortunately not working out, and Sonic tying up the score 2-2. We're going to game.
Yeah, definitely a lot better adaptations there coming out from Sonic. Was able to get more of their game plan going, and especially navigating around the neutral game a little bit more cleanly compared to some of the other games that they were losing there. But like, as I commented, like they're playing the game in a very non-BBTAG type way, I guess is the point of it. It's very honest, like in and out type of gameplay, just trying to force the opponent or like kind of urge the opponent to do some type of risky decision making, but both of them just not relenting on each other. So it's been a very slow paced match overall, even when somebody does get the hit in. But we're going into the final game here. Let's see how it ends up going.
They're just trying to make something happen here. And one of the things that I'm really noticing is that one person wants to get like the big momentum shift in the opening and just try to play back a little bit and just make them come to them.
Yeah, but to set up the sandwich center and a good push block out. Yeah, Sonic-kun being very patient with it. CC does not want the heart to get hit. Just trying to find an inch forward this S some way, somehow. And yeah, it's just going to be playing that traditional zoning Batista game. Sonic-kun also playing a very zoning heavy game, but gets punished there on the landing with the 4P. Sets up another sandwich. Lotad going in with the aggression, getting this hit.
Good so far, gets clipped low. Just immediately catching out the super to make it as burst safe as possible, and S looking really worse for wear right now. The pressure, and yeah, good time to burst out, just not wanting to deal with that issue.
Yeah, oh my god, that could have been a very dangerous match. Already pre coming in, but Hart zooming right past it. So Sonic-kun definitely is in the position to try and make something happen here with this life disadvantage, but an excellent confirm. Going to be, oh, unfortunately dropping the combo there. That was definitely very pivotal. Does the raw swap, gets thrown bait as well. Wait, that it could be a pivotal drop there here for Sonic-kun, or so for Lotad here, but does DP out of the scenario before anything gets too risky. This Batista though, very low.
Oh no, and a good bust out super will be killing the Batista off to Soul Aurier. Definitely still doable, but not looking too good for both sides right now. And the Lotad solo character right now, but Sonic-kun, both characters are definitely in one-touch range, depending on the hit. Looking good so far. Gets the overhead, and all up to a 1v1 now.
Oh no! Lotad not expecting to get thrown back there in the situation. Not ready for it, and Sonic-kun able to fire back there and kill off the Aurier in one of the closest sets I think we've had so far tonight here. And yeah, that was a little bit of a heartbreaker there, but nonetheless, Sonic-kun going to be moving on to the winner's side of the bracket.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just, in a lot of situations, especially in high tense situations like that, there's a lot of times where you're thinking of, oh, they're going to try something like really, really disgusting. They're going to do something that will like really throw people off. And they did go for something that they really haven't showcased out at all the entire set. Unfortunately for them, be moving on, or unfortunately for Lotad, really close set. Hopefully they can make their way back around. But very much. And back there.
Get ready.
Yeah, definitely some really impressive play on both sides. Sonic-kun going to be going on to fight Detective Crow. We will be moving on to the loser side of the bracket. I believe this is Kriya versus Fishhooker.
Yeah. Kriya, I want to say they've joined maybe one or two WNFs, but I'm pretty sure I've seen them pretty often over at the big, happening on every Tuesday. Against Fishlicker, who's been on the up and coming as of lately, doing pretty well in the beginner brackets. Let's see how they do against someone that's pretty tenured over on the Big 8 stage.
With that Susan Hawkman cop going in with Team Bumblebee as well. Ooh, yeah, good spacing here with the Blake overall, but just getting a lot of drop combos. That Susanoo is looking quite low though, but all it takes is really one situation to kind of turn the tides here for Fishlicker, and going to be getting that burst bait. Only a 2 A-star, so not as much damage as it could be. Sets up the sandwich, able to get the conversion, and yeah, this looks like they're getting going.
Nice to start here, going for the double overhead, but Fishlicker ready for it. Slowly just trying to make their way in with some of this pressure. JB working out nicely. Trying to go for a grab, but it's so bait, but just the Scramble City is happening, and Rhea is getting a lot of damage on the board.
Yeah, and I think that should be a kill here. Oh, unfortunately dropping the combo, but does get the low check there. Able to stabilize the confirm. Didn't need to pass out in the super, but it's okay as Fishlicker unfortunately running into the Hawkman. A little bit of a rush start there for Korea, but was able to pick up the pieces there at the end.
excellent work to them. Yeah, just Fishlicker was able to get a lot of stray hits at the beginning there, just trying to mount some of their own. Really trying to make something happen, but fortunately, Korea just found that one good opening just to shift the momentum. Hopefully, I think with the team at hand and the way Fishlicker wants to play, they want to like have Blake on point and try and bolster as much as possible. Hopefully, they can employ the game plan that Blake would like. Boy, you know, just keep him out of arms. Eventually, ultimately, take them down with a death bite.
Definitely gonna be difficult for kind of the team to deal with the space control, but all you have to do is get in. Fishlicker, unfortunately, getting caught by that grab there, allowing the Susanoo to get a good chunk of damage as well as here in this corner. It's gonna be the interjump grab, but unfortunately getting hit by the 6P and getting their burst baited as well by the 2B. It is not looking so hard.
Not looking too great right now, and able to get the pick up this time, and I think that's not going to go into a fully charged Shifu, but another setup here. Because the numbers looking a little worse for Wendy's situations. The offense is piling onto the Shifu again!
Yeah, immediately cash out into the super. I don't think that was necessary because there was a DP punish, but regardless, going to be given another 10 line. You know what? DP straight out of the situation. Fishlicker at the solo Blake, only level 1 resonance. Not going to be an easy comeback for sure, but that is going to be a very solid hit.
Really trying to make something happen, and it's working out pretty nicely so far. Momentum has started. Resonance is about to run out, but they're just make something happen here, but just fortunately gets a whiff though, and I think that's current design. The amount of damage that these two can put.
Yeah, goes into the super DHC available, and that is a dead blank. Had a lot of really good hits overall, but you know, Blake, for all her strengths, has one very vital flaw, and that is her damage output, and could not overcome the mountain that is Susanoo Hakumin, but still has another game on the to play around with. We'll see if they're able to make those adaptations.
There's something they can do, and no, I'm seeing this team on the board. They have brought this out before in winner bracket with IF, so and it was doing a good amount of work. So I'm curious to see if this team change will be able to break through this all that Korea has.
Definitely just maybe trying to abuse some matchup familiarity with the Noel, but we'll see. Already starting off pretty strong there with the JB call. Unfortunately, could not bait out and punish the DP. Just gotta fly around neutral, throwing out those JAs, trying to get those raw hits here, but does find the overhead check. Once again, the momentum and the pressure is ongoing, but Ventura kind of just firing back and forth here with them.
Oh no, it gets the pickup 2 off of that, that's insane! Just off of that stray 6P from Susanoo, and yeah, the momentum, again, just already shifting over to Rhea, and not looking too good, and Izzy's getting punished on the first.
Oh, this isn't looking so good. Accidentally raw tags in the Noel. It's not looking so great here, but waits up with the super. Thankfully, there was no kill on that situation, putting Susanoo in that one-touch scenario. Izzy coming in with a good amount of life, but you know, it can end in just any second.
Both characters, regardless of what character Korea is playing, it's a one-touch situation. Unfortunately, drops a combo right there, and just Fishlicker fighting for their life, slowly mounting, or at least trying to make a comeback right now. But it's just one touch, one mistake could just seal their fate.
Yeah, okay, getting that one hit in neutral, but not able to fully confirm off it. Just trying to abuse the Noel drives. Unfortunately, does it at the wrong time. Noel will be going down here. Just swats out the EX instant overhead there. No full conversion available, but just trying to space out with these Ezioid buttons. Just trying to catch them out, and a 2A call on the projectile might just seal the deal out here. But drops the combo.
Fortunate little navigation there. Both just trying to skirt around the issue of going in. And User never getting good hit, but unfortunately not able to hit confirm off of that stray counter hit JA, and just slowly trying to make something happen, trying to make their way in, making an effort, but Unfortunate straight hits are just not confirming the full combos here. Rampage time is available.
We're not going to be playing with it here, as just a nice, simple, clean DP punish going about Shura to take the set 3-0 over Fish Liquor. A valiant attempt, especially with that last game, but yeah, it's just going to be falling. And unfortunately, that will be their last chance here in this bracket. Still, good job getting top 8. Very impressive work to Fish Liquor, but Shirley will be moving on to fight Motad.
That'll be an interesting one. You know, Korea is just... Oh, I know they... like I mentioned, I've seen them quite a bit in Big 8 brackets, but this is some of the first couple of times we've been exposed to them as a player. Anyhow. We'll be moving on to the other side of Losers Round 3. Vancouver.
You know, this is a... I've been really going to see Amethyst Gray play all too much as of maybe a couple of months ago, but recently kind of gotten back into the game. One of the Yukiko representatives, one of the original ones, in fact, currently locked in with that Hilda Yukiko team comp going against E2 Deku, once again on that Yang Ruby as always. A matchup that I think was pretty common in the past before, you know, pre-rollback WNF, those times were indeed things, to say the least. But you know, they both West Coast players, both I'm sure very familiar with each other's playstyles. But I don't know the last time they've really gotten to play against each other.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like I definitely feel like a hint of nostalgia just seeing these. Before we get into that, I just want to say pronunciation. Hey, the ending part. Like, Ryu, I'm guessing is the way we're supposed to go about that, but also fine with Chris or Clyde. I'm going to go with the latter option. Thank you for that.
Yeah, much appreciated. That name has been like the biggest struggle on commentary that I've had in a while. I will keep it real. So thank you for clearing the air there. Well, we'll try to respect the pronunciation as best as possible, but you know, mistakes will be happening here or there. But hopefully, we getting on to our next match between Amethyst Gray and E2 Deku.
This would be an interesting one because it's as I said, it's a nostalgia not only with the players but also just a match of a rushdown versus. So we'll see how this goes between them, and Amethyst Gray not actually using their patented Yukiko Hilda this time, and instead of running Hilda Platinum.
Yeah, definitely there's a decision here, but you know, already working out that Platinum 5P, able to get the hit here on the Ruby, but drops the combo, or is it a combo reset? I don't know, but Ichideki just said, I'm DPing out.
Oh no, gets a push block and hit by that 214B over there, but the Platinum Assist actually screwed up the combo a little bit, but Amethyst Gray gets opened up by the JA.
Yeah, things are happening, but E2 Deku's character is looking a little bit worse from her. A nice push block just going to be avoiding that situation, that put on E2 Deku, you know. Amethyst Gray well more for Yukiko, but has a pretty solid Platinum in the back, but they will be getting grabbed. I think, yeah, this is kind of just a guess who you want to die character, or guess what character you want to die situation, but yeah, bringing in the Ruby. And actually, you know, the Kara cancel on for the style too, that should be a dead Hilda.
And imagine between the two characters you'd want to, ideally want to keep your Hilda alive, but maybe Amethyst is testing themselves to see how well they can do with the solo part. Hopefully they can make something happen, excellent throw break, but I want to say they need to pop Resident soon, but unfortunately E2 Deku's offensive prowess just allowing them to not have to deal with Platinum.
Yeah. Yeah, Platinum and Resonance, like, I'll keep it real, you know, I don't know much about Platinum, very rare character nowadays, but we're already seeing, you know, she could be a pretty potent Resonance character. Is she better than Hilda? No, I don't think so, but, you know, I think they do have some pretty solid options overall. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see it.
Yeah. hopefully they're able to make some things happen here because, as we mentioned before, E2 Deku is a very momentum-heavy character, or heavy momentum player. So, you know, stuff like this knockdown happening, will just steamroll if Amethyst Gray does not find a way to stop it.
Yeah, you know, even if they get stopped a little bit, they're always ready to get back in here. Able to get a solid conversion. Oh, unfortunate air DP coming out from Amethyst there. I don't think they really wanted that. Going to be putting Platinum in the red zone. Trying to build up that meter order for kill, but even then, I don't think this will actually work out. Oh, goes for this cheeky air unblockable DP reset there, and keeping up the pressure. Rid of a risky burst, and yeah, not working out there. The Platinum will be quickly dying.
Thankfully, this time Hilda is available on the board, and we're just seeing how comfortable they are with this character. And just trying to make something happen here. Getting a lot of these fadeaway JAs. Unfortunate timing on the JB, but unfortunate timing on the burst for E2 Deku's Ruby, and I think this is curtains.
Yeah, go in with a double super here. Even if this doesn't kill, I think a follow-up will... That was just rude. Like, he could have killed.
Unnecessary pepperonis right there. Hilda left with just a sliver of life, getting some of that back with the resonance, and we'll see what happens. Run up DP? I feel like a run up DP is about to happen. Okay, no. Get stopped, but Yang not looking so good right now.
Yeah, play with her food a little bit. Goes for the reset there in order to set up some chip there with the Nail Torrent. And almost could have smelled doom there if that Hilda JA was a little faster, but E2 Deku playing with their food quite a bit there. Almost had to be put in a 1v1 situation, but able to bring it back as they are up 2 games.
Little bit of a messy eating right there. May need to put the complimentary cloth on your lap next time you do that, but up 2 games already. Let's see. Yeah, and this is the team that we primarily know Amethyst Gray. Hilda Yukiko, so hopefully this is we'll see Amethyst Gray in a more comfortable form.
Yeah, most definitely here. In order to set up for the confidence, just wake up with the surfboard, able to get the hit, already getting some pretty nice confirms here on E2 Deku. Sets up the sandwich situation, expecting that cross up there, but thing just going to be getting a almost good confirm. Hits the low here. Amethyst Gray, yeah, as you said, already looking way more confident.
Looking very solid here. Going to get a punch on the burst, but an excellent backdash to avoid that run-up JC that E2 Deku's been liking recently. Getting a good amount of stacks on the board, probably one more. Yukiko already at level 6. Looking very solid right now.
Yeah, you know, opting not to go for the fire boost setup there. And I think a pretty good call, able to maintain that momentum here, which I think is going to matter quite a bit, but not believing in that burst punish there, allowing the Ruby to fire back, but E2 Deku's got to be very careful here, and maybe a wrong time to burst, as Amethyst Gray going to be getting their Yukiko smack, but they do have a nice amount of threat here on board, but the Vortex just does not stop.
Looking really good for E2 Deku right now, just getting a lot of taps on the board, able to create some space, and yeah, just right now, just able to put that stop side with a fan with the 4P, and Ruby's going down for the kill.
Yeah, gets hit there too, and that was some pretty nice setup there in order to get the confirm. Amethyst Gray, maybe a little bit like uncomfortable, just like picked up the team after playing Hilda Platinum there, but was nonetheless able to get a very solid game 3.
Excellent work by them. You know, it's just the comfortability and the muscle memory with your mate. I understand. Oh no. Oh no. E2 Deku, we just said we brought you back for the light, and then you jumped right back in. We said Adult Swim's over, and then you're like, oh sick, time to go back to the dark.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, just overall, like, 9 is one of Yukiko's worst matchups, but like, I think for the most part, the Hilda is the problem. Has been kind of like proven here. You know, gonna use that time to like opt for going for a setup, not going for the level 9, just trying to maintain the momentum there. Definitely wants to make sure that this 9 does not get to play. And yeah, spots back over into the Hilda, does not want to have to deal with her on point, and gets in the Yumi as well. But this Hilda, like I said, you know, like maybe pick the matchup or deal with the Yukiko, but nonetheless, like this is a very much a dual-sided threat team, as Ami is proving right now.
Too good right now on E2 Deku's side. the villain arc isn't really working out at the moment, and slowly trying to make something happen here with the team, but just in a really sandwich situation right now.
Ooh, gets caught by the 5B. That's quite a bit of damage here on the Yukiko. Both of Itudeku's characters looking quite low. And a good forward tech into the tick throw. Going to be proving almost fatal here for the Yukio. Got to be careful what you do next. Jump out of the situation there with the JC. And a raw tag into the Hilda is going to be saving Yukiko's life. But you got to be careful about what you do next.
Good little bit of sacrifice right there, and the 9 will be going down. Off the solo Yumi, not the ideal character you want. Very strong, but just trying to get the momentum started. I'd imagine they want to maybe go for a reset here. But
Yeah,
invalidated.
Yeah, good awareness there from Amethyst Sky. They're able to get the kill there on the Yumi and put this set into a tied up position here, 2-2.
Really good so far. And Itudeku has a bit of a decision to make because they did well. You know, they got games on the board with their... the 9 Yumi didn't exactly do a bad job. Let's just, do they want to stick with just trying to make something work? But it looks like they're going back to their old reliable. Welcome back, Itudeku. I think a skin crawler took over for a little. Good to have you back.
I was very much a bit concerned for their safety here, but we're moving on to Game 4, Former Day 5. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a very interesting there. Actually, I also go for the DP. I don't know if they wanted that or not, but regardless, going to be just a swift punish here for Itudeku.
The delayed high right there on the mix-up, and slowly trying to make something happen. Navigating around pretty well, just not giving an opportunity to breathe. That's a dead building. Oh, no! I think it's because of the active switch. It didn't go with that little capture of the resonance side normal.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly happened, but I'm sure Abby is perfectly content about Hilda still being alive. But that being said, level 0 Yukiko, not the super threatening character we can know her for here. That's a little bit of a weird hit, but regardless, going to be going to the super. Amy still on the back foot. Doesn't matter what character they're in. Constant aggro pressure gets in the Hilda. Wants that save that Yukiko in the back, and that's what they're going to need to make this solo comeback for. Level 0 Yukiko, level 3 Resonance. Can they do it?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the people that kind of put Yukiko on the map in terms of just the NA presence, but unfortunately not working out. Gets the hard read on calling out the jump. Itudeku sending Arizon's Gray. They're probably home, but out of the bracket, 3-2, and one hell of a set.
Yeah, and just it was looking really good for Amy there, but I think Itudeku was able to quickly adapt to the more zoner-heavy playstyle that Amy was implementing there, and just able to maintain that aggression, keep it up. And one of the biggest things, about Yukiko teams is the fact that, she is a character that requires momentum to be built up, and when you don't really get that time or that space in order to really build her up, her threat level is going to be mitigated. We have seen in the past, Yukiko can be a very strong character even if you don't let her get her kind of her gimmick going, but requires a lot of gap, to say the least. And a lot of good play. Unfortunately, Amethyst could not quite make that happen there in that last game.
Yeah, well, fortunate play there, but we've, as I was mentioning, Amethyst is one of the, especially in, they're still showcasing that they have a lot of tenure. The times are changing, everyone's improving, and they're still able to hang, make top 8 here. Definitely comes to breaks with these brackets. I firmly believe that whoever's having a, we'll be moving on. I believe we're moving on to this quarters. We're having Lotab versus. Honestly, I don't want to tongue twist as much anymore, so I'll do the same thing that Big 8 does in all your cloud.
Yeah, we're gonna be having what did I just... Klaus, Chris? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Going up against Lota. You know, we talked about, like, definitely a Aurier lover, but that Weiss, that Ice Girl that they have as their primary partner for Aurier, very much equally as good as their Aurier as well, and they will be opting to kind of play a team comp I probably have seen them play before with the Weiss Shirogane, but yeah, I can only imagine that this is a relatively strong Weiss team couple. We'll see how it implements here. That was an interesting start.
Yeah, I understand what Klaus is trying to go for because Weiss is one of the I like to call the round start dominators. I just wanted to call it maybe our 5-8. It's a very popular round start for Weiss. It's
yeah, but you know, this Weiss has put a lot of damage here on this Teddy. Going to be getting that counter call on the Muto though, but has to be incredibly careful about what they do going forward here. And yeah, just played a little bit too Teddy-centric there. Forced to play with the solo Elizabeth here. Full health available, but immediately getting hit. This is not looking great.
Nice bit of awareness to just see that Elizabeth is swinging on the partner and it's opened up with an instant kill and just the ideal situation for Lotad there panned out. Taking the first.
Yeah, just definitely, like, you know, Elizabeth, not well known for being a very front-loaded character. In fact, quite the opposite. She is really poor on point and really there to accentuate to a very great degree your point character. So I kind of understand the mentality of why Chris didn't want to bring in the Elizabeth at that point. Just try to make as much mileage as possible there with the Teddy, but maybe a bit too confident there as they were kind of forced to play with the Elizabeth regardless. So it's always kind of that risk there with Elizabeth team, a balance between playing with your point character with her super strong like support value and try to mitigate putting Elizabeth on point as much as possible.
It's, you know, believing in your point character as much as possible. Elizabeth is really good at both. Whatever your point character is, but just right now, Lotad looking really good on the offense right now, getting an early mark on the Teddy. By that Lotad is 2 meter, it's just a one-touch.
Yeah, no, that means that, you know, the meter does have to be built up here, and they're maybe going to use that time in order to get this Weiss and try to bait a burst there, maintaining all this pressure, gets a bit of a frame trap there, and opting to burst in the Elizabeth this time, and an excellent dive kick in order to punish that 5B sequence as well, but does drop the combo.
Too good right now. Elizabeth has to come out to play a little bit, but just it's opened up by E in the back. And just trying to make something happen here. Bring out in the Teddy. A little scary here. 4 meter on deck for Lotad, so they could bust out and try and go for an instant kill. They do get an open.
Yeah, but you know, Chris is not deterred at all, and gets a safe call to Elizabeth, and able to get the command throw, unblockable tick throw. Unfortunately, Teddy has a multi-target DHC, so that won't be killing. Brings in the Weiss, almost dying here, and gets thrown there for their troubles. Weiss will be going down, but Shola Shirogane, one of the scariest characters in Resonance for sure.
It's still doable, just getting a burst, just trying to keep the momentum and stay close to the Shirogane. Trying to call him out, but unfortunately, the Muto and Hamon have no invulns, so it just gets swatted. Chris taking their first game on the...
Yeah. I just gotta comment. Can you imagine how messed up Shirogane would be if those supers had invul? Oh god.
I'm glad they don't, because, like, if I were in that position of Chris, and, you know, they just did bust out Hamon like that and just pull through whatever I was trying to do to them, I think I would just throw... I would throw something. There's going to be a hole in one of my walls. I'm going to find one of them.
Understandable. You know, like, ranting about the, what could have been a side here, yeah, it's gonna be a pretty, like, close game for Chris overall, but able to actually start off strongly here. Gonna be calling out Lotad there with the, round start bear screw.
And the pressure up, making sure that this Naoto stays in the corner, but able to go out, but A DP, it will stuff any approach. Just try and reclaim some of that offensive power back. But this could be a good start, but gets cut by that 6P.
Yeah. Ooh, gets the double overhead. Chris not expecting it at all, but unfortunately missing the land cancel. A bit uncharacteristic there from Lotad, but able to avoid the bear screw and just smash out of the pressure, putting him into that red zone. And fortunately missing another land cancel, but proving to be a bit beneficial there as they able to get the kill on Teddy.
Good. Elizabeth is decently healthy right now, but just getting a little piece up might go into the red zone here. But that quarter swap, an excellent defense for Chris, just keeping really stable here, trying to make something happen with the solo Elizabeth. Resist timer is down, but using a little bit of that air stall on the JA and getting a nice open.
Yeah, unfortunately this is not an awakening, so the damage is a little bit mitigating here. But some pretty good stagger pressure is going to be allowing them to get some pressure. Almost got the cancel there into the super, but wakes up the super of their own. No persona break, so not quite able to kill. Baits out another DP. Trying to get some reverse side swaps here and there, but Chris's defense has been good so far. But the 6P able to clip as Lotad going to be taking their second game.
That was an excellent bit of sequence. Just able to survive, you know, with how much a lot of people sleep on was, you know, they just were able to show a solid amount of defense there. That closing sequence, unfortunately, not able to secure victory. Still, showcasing some of the patience that they're capable of in those last. Hopefully, backs against the wall. Lotad is up 2 games, so hopefully they could come.
Yeah, you know, Elizabeth is kind of a bit of a poor solo character, so a lot of Elizabeth players have to do in order to make her work solo. They're pretty creative, and we gotta see a lot of that from Chris.
Why does everybody call me that?
I think they can make something happen here. Lotad again. Games in contention, and yeah, the round start DP works this time. Kind of this, you know, so a lot of people in the set would be scared of that notion, you know, like, oh, don't DP again. But Chris showing a bit of their bravery there in this game.
Yeah, unfortunately the spacing was a little odd there, so allowing Lotad to get a pretty solid 5B check on the Teddy and immediately setting up another sandwich scenario. Able to kind of beat the burst there, but too far away to fully convert. And Lotad bringing in the Shirogane once more and able to get the mark on the Elizabeth. Maybe not as huge as getting on the Teddy, but still, a mark is a mark.
Looking pretty good so far, and bringing back in the Weiss. Getting their land cancels this time around. Looking pretty good, but still a very scary situation to be in. Gets clipped low. No. Canceling the hormone. Are you pressing a button? No. Trying to keep the pressure up as much as they can. Not really any threat of the instant kill right now, but they're in one touch range.
Yeah. Ooh, unfortunately, the Weiss 5B dropping a little bit, but Chris not ready for a potential punish there. Keep it all safe there. Oh, the toy in the back and an excellent counter call there from Chris. Should be able to get the kill, but doesn't keep it all burst safe. And oh, that is so unfortunate here. And does not route the combo correctly in order to kill the Teddy. Thankfully for Chris, but that is a unfortunate drop to say the least.
Really heartbreaking. And a sandwich. Good throw break, but just the whiff on the 5B. Unfortunately, it's off the soul. Elizabeth again. Really close to getting a second meter, and that should be Kearns for Chris. And Lotad taking it 3-1.
Yeah, you know, some pretty good adaptation there from Chris overall, but was not able to weather the storm there. That was Weiss Shirogane. Really liking how they were moving around with the Teddy there along the tandem with those Elizabeth assists. Now, I've gotten the pleasure to play with them before, and the team is very solidly built, you know, despite some of the awkwardness that Elizabeth does have to offer. Just, yeah, you know, Elizabeth unfortunately does have her flaws, and Lotad was able to kind of press in the right situations and press through the gaps in order to kind of mitigate some of Chris's situations. But nonetheless, like I said, really good set between the two.
And, you know, really good showing. You know, Lotad hasn't really... I want to see the... I mean, last week? pretty recently, but you don't see them as often as Really nice to see low tech come out. Also, on the other hand, Chris really making an impressive performance. I don't think that this is their quote unquote debut bracket for WNF, but making a very strong statement, making top 8. Glad to see some of the what I like to. I like to clear some overlap between F and. Really nice work, and hope to see you back again.
Yeah, very impressive showing as always. But we'll be moving on to the next side of the bracket between Meryl T and E2 Dick. And for sure, Meryl T opting to DQ from the winner side of the bracket due to some controller issues. Don't know if they have them currently fixed right now. If not, then unfortunately they might have to DQ from the bracket. But regardless, if the matchup is slated to going against E2 Deku, actually like kind of a similar dynamic I was expecting to be Dick Fro. Their match they would have had against Dick Crow. It's a very much a battle between a gorilla and kind of I don't know what's a like patient animal known for wisdom type of deal, because that's usually how the low damage characters get seen in the animal sphere.
Well, I mean, I think we're talking like animals in terms of like, pretty sure like the turtle is.
It's like a snapping turtle. Like they play relatively slow, but like as soon as you get close to them, they're like they start biting at you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Solid momentum here, but we'll see. Long, but as we wait for our players again, there is a reminder on Maturino, and I'll read these. Thank you to Long Lily for the 1 cent donation, saying, "Yes, you can donate a cent. Please donate the funds to ensure their glow." And Otad with the donation of $1.35 with Long Live EU. Thank you to both. Well, nice. $11.36. A little bit of eccentric in terms of players will be fighting for lion's share.
Yeah, Meryl T. They not mistaken, more of a PC Tech player currently locked in with their account, the Sykes04. I don't know, like, is this evil Sykes or good Sykes? Or is it just another version of Sykes? Because Sykes is already evil.
I mean, with the team on board, I'm willing to believe that this is just another version. So, it's funny.
Sykes went wrong.
Yeah, like I would say Sykes, but a war criminal. But like with the way they play, they're already. But
yeah,
like. If I remember correctly, this is Merlit's main account, and they wanted to mess around, create some mitosis with the Sykes name. But unfortunately, if memory serves me correctly, they got their free name change, PSN. Unfortunately, I think they failed to realize that they gotta pay again. Oh god, let me just put this up. Oh no. Sykes is multiplied.
Oh no.
But yeah, they gotta hold that for a little bit with those gamer tags on.
Yeah, like sometimes you want to change your name for a joke, and like us PC tag players, we're so used to just getting the name changes for free. Like, you can just change it whenever you want, and like, it seems just like, okay, cool, whatever. But like, like people over here on like PSN, like, nah, Sony extorts you for all you're worth.
You know what's funny too about that is there's some old there's some old like SoCal lore back like during when WNF Offline was still happening, where there's the what was called a right in mitosis, where a few people got together and just completely replicated Raiden's like, username and their little name tag for their little like their little tag for the bottom right that showcases your win rate. So several people decided to mess with Raiden when they were shooting one time, going up to his podium to effectively a time-tested prank on people, and things do not change even.
Yeah, it looks like Meryl T formed a Sykes 04, opting maybe to play a Adachi Ruby. I don't. So Meryl T, aka Minatami, well-known player of the random select for the most part. They have their main, they have what they enjoy locking in with, but they have a lot of characters they play in the back, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they know how to play Adachi and Ruby much more together. So we're gonna be locking in with a team, gonna be completing the cosplay, and yeah, we're gonna be moving on to this very interesting game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because especially with someone like Merlin, I remember they were just shifting around trying to find a team to. I'd imagine that they picked up a couple of tricks and acts with a lot of characters in the cast. So hopefully they can make something happen here with this Sykes cosplay.
Yeah, going to be getting that green Ruby thrown out there. Nice DP for the situation, but at a safe jump? Yeah, not even Ruby can punish that Ruby's bruh.
Oh my god, they have the same brain cell.
Okay, yeah. Just gonna be opting for the BZO setup. Maybe not the cleanest Ruby Adachi in the world, but they got some good fundamentals with them. Gonna be hitting the Atom Smash to get both characters. And does not actually opt to go into the super to get a kill. Get the DP though. That's gonna do quite a bit of damage, but I don't think it's gonna kill.
Yeah, no leader to cash out to a super, but E2 Deku is going to try and extend the damage as much as possible just to make it a scary situation. Maybe a reset? Didn't go for it, but just grab works out. The nice opening there. Oh no! You know what? Adachi can hold that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just gonna be getting this corner combo here. Oh, opts to go in for the Atom Smasher, somehow not killing both characters. A little surprised about. I know how it feels, E2 Deku. Don't worry.
Atomic 7's getting the pause a little bit. It just gets hit with the 2B. E2 Deku ready for it and should be able to close out this game. And yeah, just a really close and explosive game one.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, to put my 2 cents in the room in terms of how Sykes is played versus Meryl in terms of the team comp. Meryl playing a little more aggressively. Sykes is kind of well known for kind of being the king of laming people out. Plays really defensively overall, but the mitosis not quite working out here. The Ruby has mutated into this Neo, a character I think they're a bit more comfortable with. But yeah, a character I think they'll have to work a little bit harder to make work though.
I imagine the BZO subs aren't that airtight, but if they're able to even achieve getting a solid BZO, I imagine with how mixed up heavy Neo is, that's not going.
Yeah, just they're gonna push block and run straight into the 5C and just trying to mess around here, trying to get that space. Attempts to call out maybe an AZO there, but regardless, what I do know is E2 Deku keeping up the pressure and getting another 5C for the troubles.
Running up 5B, unfortunately, isn't able to punish the burst, but this is where it really feels most comfortable, getting hit with a bust out super.
Yeah, trying to go for some more cheeky 5C there, but the Adachi in the back able to kind of save him out there. Puts in the sandwich scenario. Good block so far. That is a very pivotal moment there, as they will be taking out the Adachi.
All up to solo Neo, and I'd imagine this is a character they probably want instead of Adachi, despite the differences in tier lists and whatnot. But unfortunately, Brilliant will be going down 2-0. I think it's time to break off from the mitosis and become anew and be your own person, and might be time.
Maybe. Oh no, there's been some tempting to pick platinum. I don't know if they have a platinum, but I wouldn't be surprised. We'll see. Like, you know, even though that Neo Hilda is the main team comp, they don't always pull it out because, like, it's not necessarily the best choice. But yeah, they're going back. They're thinking about it. They're like, you know what? Like my shift into Sykes, it might happen. I have no idea who that is. Okay, we're swapping over to Yuzu Hilda instead. They're transforming into a Japanese player.
Yeah, yeah. And this team, you know, they do have a Hilda, so they won't be completely like a fish out. As far as I know, I know you're mentioning the JP player that plays this team, and as far as I know, Burley is also stealing their colors, so it's working out. Yeah, Pisa Mayo.
Alright, yeah. I mean, like, regardless, it's gonna be a little bit of a trouble here to get stuff going, yeah. Itadaki was, like, recognizing the situation. There was just the amount of block stun that comes out from the assist in order to kind of, like, just mash out of the situation. But, yeah, not gonna be working out there. Probably gonna get an opportunity to at least swap into Yuzi, yeah. Could not punish the burst, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think so. But, I mean, that matters a little bit, getting hit.
Momentum is very much in Itadaki's favor, but a nice DP to just get out of the situation. We had a super just trying to make something happen here, but gets punished on the backside. Nice work being able to confirm as well. A little bit of unfamiliar on the user side, it looks like, but still making something work. And yeah, just the teleport 4P is going to be a really egregious thing to deal with Barca right now.
Yeah, the good TRM call going to be allowing for the grab combo here. And base the burst too. This could be pretty fatal here for the Hilda if they're able to extend the combo for long enough to get that CC, but drops the combo. The very pivotal drop here for E2 Deku. But you know what? Just run it up and grab again.
Too good here. Alta Soul Yuzu, definitely I'd say there's a soul character, a bit of a struggle, but unfortunately will be getting knocked out here. 3-0 by Yuzu.
Yeah, didn't opt to go for their main team, probably trying to experiment and practice with some others, or just trying to complete mitosis. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. Fortunate showing there for Meryl. Didn't quite get to play out their winner side of their bracket, and will be going 3-0 for Itsudeku, but nonetheless, getting into that top 5 position is very impressive indeed.
For them, they will be, they have earned their ticket. Few losers. Otad, and it's actually a run back too, so we will be seeing that soon. I think we're moving back into the winners finals. It will be Honeycomb versus a match that I don't think it's getting to the point of becoming a quote-unquote classic, but it is a pretty common occurrence here at WNF to see face up against each other this late and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the biggest things to note, like, you know, talking about Sonic-kun being, like, probably the one to beat in terms of bracket static things. One of the players that you wouldn't be surprised having a pretty clean run through for the entire tournament. Detective Crow has often changed that fact. He is one of the people that has actually able to take out Sonic-kun in the past, and I think overall, like, in terms of win percentage, it isn't necessarily, like, super in Detective Crow's favor, but in terms of Sonic-kun's general success in terms of online BBTAG bracket, the fact that Detective Crow has some pretty impressive upsets against him makes him a player to watch out for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And with the way these two play, it definitely goes back and forth. And Detective Crow, just compared to a lot of the players that we've observed here at WNF, they have a pretty solid handle on how to kind of navigate and deal with the heart, with the heart and the player back. So we'll see how it turns out today, because Honeycomb is starting to get their hot streak.
Indeed, yeah. Like, had a pretty like I think like a 7 or 8 like tournament long win streak that was ended by Detective Crow, but ever since then, like hasn't really skipped a beat. Has won every tournament they've won once more, and they're kind of back on that streak. So Detective Crow, let's see if they're able to kind of stop their momentum or if Sonokun will get their revenge here.
Get ready.
Good. Detective Crow deciding to go with the Ragna Dachi. I feel like, in terms of the characters that Detective Crow plays, I feel like this is probably the best. That's good. Dachi just has like some immense space control with AZO, just to try and shut down a hard opponent. And Ragna has some pretty solid tools. Probably not the best character to deal with hard, but at least with the hitboxes that JB that he has, and also just having a 4-frame head and roll anti-air would work like pretty well for
Yeah, the constant aggression here or there, but good defense from Sonokun's side. A lot of scrambles going to be leading into a lot of damage as Sonokun's character is looking a little bit worse for wear, especially considering Detective Crow's position. Run around, setting up Azeos, Bezio, sandwiches, all that, and not able to quite punish that S super. That both of S's supers are one of the hardest supers to punish in the game overall.
Worked out in Sonokun's favor, and they do like using a lot of bust out supers because I think overall they're cognizant of that fact, so it works out pretty well. Not going to lose their S just quite yet, but just going to also get a propelled back to an option.
In the 1-2 situation, get back in the Adachi, just trying to air with her. Important to note, this is generally a bit of an awkward matchup for Adachi, but he does have options available, and this just constant air-to-air pressure is how Detective Pro has been implementing it. Unfortunately, not getting hit by the air of their own, allowing Sonokun to fire back with the S. What side was that on?
Yeah, not really working out with the scramble here, and just unfortunate. I feel like Detective Pro was fairly confident that Adachi would survive something like that, but not working out, and just all the solo Ragna, definitely doable, but this combo's probably going to run out the resonance timer, and just still has to deal with the blender that is Heart Item.
Yeah, but does get DP for their troubles. Heart has a lot of damage available, and looking to probably seal out the deal, but not quite. A nice solid 11k confirm. But Sonokun has to be careful of both characters. Oh my god, jumps over the 4P, but does not bait the DP available there. A very close game one, though. Going over to Sonokun.
Nice work so far. And Detective Crow just having a pretty decent handle. Like, if there's one thing that I'm noticing that Detective, that they're not afraid and have shown a lot of boldness when contesting hard when Heart's homing at them. So it's making I'd imagine that's making Sonokun really think about their approach compared to a lot of people that just kind of respect them.
Yeah, definitely like all that confidence paying out, but let's see what happens here in this game too.
Gotta go for a bit of a cheeky command grab, but again, yeah, just really using that good hitbox on the JB of Ragnar just to try and catch Heart. At the very least, maybe not, even if it doesn't hit, at the very least, just make it so that Heart is blocking instead of being able to.
Yeah, just the 5C here. Ragnar looking quite low. Detective Pro, I can't say play patiently because that's not his style, but able to get the hit, but no full confirm, allowing a swap over into the Adachi, but swaps back over into the Ragnar here. He's swinging, kind of missing here, allowing Sonokun to fire back with his wake up super.
And good so far. Back in the corner, getting the instant overhead and a nice combo. For 4.2k, but putting the Adachi in the red zone, but unfortunately that wake up super doesn't look like it's going to do them any favors.
Yeah, and Adachi getting out relatively fine, hurting this Heart quite a bit. That should be dead. No, does not actually opt to go for a kill. I know it could have been risky, but it might have been worth it. Interesting DP, but working out regardless.
Oh no, good navigation, but unfortunately, thankfully for Crow, the Adachi stays alive and just Sonokun getting some momentum shifted back in their favor. And S looking pretty healthy right now and a nice snipe, but not far enough to connect.
Yeah, We'll be killing off the Ragna. A bit of more opponent between the two solo characters, but Adachi for sure can make something happen. But Crow not watching their toes, and Sonic-kun taking another game in a pretty close game overall again.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, but especially with players that play against each other a lot, I can imagine that the more you fight and the same player over and over again, you kind of get into that mindset of just completely skipping some of the first or second layer that you or just going for the more interesting options or trying to answer certain things from them. 'Cause, it's just there's an experience of just being able to know what they're gonna do right off.
Yeah. Ooh, unfortunately opts for the air DP, but Sonic-kun blocking regardless here. A little bit of a weird air spacing there, so not ready to confirm that combo, but just a bunch of AZOs here or there, going to be allowing for an air unblockable reset. And yeah, this is some wild stuff going on. Heart somehow happy birthday, but also dropped the combo like that. I don't know how she managed to do that, but she is going in, and Detective Crow is swinging back though.
Trying to cash out the meter, trying to get as much damage as possible in the heart. He's going to be relatively a non-factor for a bit now, so this works out pretty nicely for Detective Crow, but unfortunately not able to get a solid opening there. Switching back to the Adachi, just trying to create some space.
Yes, that's the air unblockable DP, just trying to get the hit, swap back over to the Adachi. Definitely recognizes, that's going to be their big leverage here in terms of the neutral game, but gets swiped out here, put into the one-touch scenario, and gets hit. Tries to go for a hard bait on the burst. Adachi looking quite low, but still somehow alive.
I understand what Detective Crow was Sonic was trying to go first, just trying to swap the Adachi. Fortunately not working out, and it looks like they'll be losing their heart, or Sonic will be losing heart for this. Off to solo S. Definitely still doable with how much tenure it has on S, but about that, yeah, never mind.
The 5C baby. Sometimes harder to react to than Gauntlet Hades for some reason there, as Detective Crow taking their first game in a very emphatic fashion.
It's just, it's just one of the options and some of the layers that you're able to. It's definitely just a matter of breaking the general that you play at, where you can do especially for Detective Crow's case, they've been really liking doing a Gauntlet Hades. Sometimes you can just really catch them off guard, even though regardless it is an overhead. It's just another thing to be like, oh, I'm not ready for that specifically.
Yeah, especially if you implement it at the right times, it can be really good just as a burst safe or just guaranteed kill setup that you only need one or even 0 bars for. So it's funny and it works sometimes. We're moving on to this game 4. Going to be getting that Gauntlet Hades conversion. Spend the cash to ensure this corner carry. Definitely a great place for Ragnar to have to be in. It goes for the throw bait too, but not ready for the full conversion. But the 5B happy birthday is going to be huge as Sonic-kun's heart is dead.
Oh, to solo S, who only has level 2 resonance and in the red already. Not looking too good, but this DP could be a little bit of momentum shift that they need to make something happen.
JB, but just gets DP for their troubles. And Detective Crow plays this Adachi in such an odd way. Just goes in, be's aggressive, trying to get these kill confirms here. Not a lot of BZO setups, which is looking to be kind of the right call. Cashes out with the super, but unfortunately a little too far away to punish. Again!
For the 5C, it's been the equalizer this set so far. Being able to bring the 2 games of Detective Crow as one. And we're on game 5. Detective Crow just making the right adjustments, just getting some really good risky plays here to just got a lot of the problems that giving Detective Crow. It's just like that. It's just game 5 already.
Yeah. I really like how, as crazy as it is, I really like the more rushdown heavy Adachi, which is differs very greatly from the more zoner, like space control heavy Adachi gameplay you might be used to. Just recognizing, Sonokun's usually on top of calling out those full screen options. So it's like, okay, I'm not gonna play full screen. Fight me!
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing too is just in general, Adachi has some really solid, like, mostly buttons as well, like 7 frame 5 AM. Like, not too happy with how those last 2 games went and just trying to get some pressure on the board, but a DP wins.
Yeah, just once again playing a bit more aggressively. Sonokun kind of relenting there, hit him in a trade, both of them trying to back away from the situation, and yeah, this is once again, like, I think in Sonokun's favor there, but the DP interactions kind of being another good equalizer, crosses up with the JB, but no full confirm. This is looking quite odd, but especially with that.
Oh no. Did it go for a punish? Yeah, just able to live to see another day, and oh no, not again!
Yeah, but thankfully going to be getting off relatively scot-free with the heart. Adachi having a single target DHC brings him in a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. Has to get him out somehow, but like Sonokun in a bit of a rough spot, gets the hit but drops the combo. Detective Pro smells blood in the water, wants to get that one crucial hit in order to get that kill. But the Crest actually able to get the confirm, and suddenly this is a very even game.
Looking scary for both sides. It's just one-touch situation. Detective Crow playing their meter on pushbox, so not having anything for a bust-out super, but Sonokun has 1 meter available as well, but just winning out this war of attrition right now.
Ooh, and gets sniped out there by the S projectile. Sonokun playing a really good defensive game, allowing for a bit of a leeway here. Gets the instant overhead mix, 2 bars on deck, and unless there's a drop here, Sonokun going to be taking the set 3-2 over Detective Pro, but very, very close there at the end.
Yeah, excellent work to Sonokun. I'd imagine that the Detective Pro almost made the reverse sweep, and I can imagine the pressure was on, but just able to stay solid, just stay clean, and was able to survive and book their ticket into the winner's side of Grand Finals.
Definitely. And like, as people grow more accustomed to Sonokun's gameplay, we see a lot more resistance when it comes to what they're being able to implement, and a perfect showing of adaptations on both sides there is Detective Pro. Unfortunately, we're on the loser side of the bracket, but they are not out of it yet, as they will be fighting the winner between Lotad and E2 Deku.
Yeah, and this is, again, a run back earlier in this night. Our winners quarterfinals was E2 Deku 3-0, so, E2 Deku having a pretty solid loser run so far, 3-1 against Frank, 3-2 against Amethyst Green, 3-0 against Berlin, making their way all the way to losing. People, they're hungry for that run back, and they're granted that privilege.
Indeed, and like Lotad swap into a team with the Weiss Shirogane, maybe not necessarily the team that they're most comfortable with, and they played Ori and Batista against Sonokun in the winner side of things. I don't know if there's going to be a team swap or if they're going to feel confident in one of those 2 compositions here for tonight. Ultimate Lotad is a very adaptable player, so can definitely pick and choose between a lot of teams depending on what they have available and what they believe is best for the matchup, or they can go for something that they're more comfortable with and knows will do them well. So always a interesting choice whenever Lotad has to pick their teams.
And like you mentioned, that they're very flexible. As we saw last time we saw them, they were Poirier, Batista, and that team, they can switch up their offenses. But on the other hand, there are a lot of Ori that likes to play. I know the 2 that really come to mind is outside of game 1, also Seth, I guess. So they can be very, as you mentioned, very flexible and also very volatile. How they can play so many teams and switch up their very well.
Yeah. You know, like some Ori-less and Weiss-less related teams too. Like there's just a solid overall player locked in with the S Susanoo. Something that they kind of like humored in terms of playing, kind of due to the DonCon tournament series, the series-based ones. You know, one of the teams that they wanted to play was that S Susanoo. So haven't practiced that in the back. Don't know if they'll be willing to play it here tonight, but you know, anything can happen.
We'll see what they come up with this time, and looks like they're going to actually go with they're posturing over the white. Like that's the team they're going to commit with. So another team available on load. We'll see how this does.
Yeah, and I think in terms of gameplay, I have seen them on the Seth far more often compared to the Shirogane, so gonna be a bit more comfortable, I feel, with this team comp, and like with Seth's like really stupid like sandwich assist option, which is sure gonna be a very effective team to have to deal with.
They get the nice burst punish, and Lotad just take it to the corner here. And just running with momentum, really solid. You know, I know they play both of those characters pretty proficiently as well, so they're just showcasing some of that very well tonight.
Yeah, opting to actually be a little bit greedy there and get some more damage here on the Ruby, but unfortunately dropping the combo here, bringing in the Yang not bringing in the Ruby as well. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of drop combos here for Lotad with the set confirmed. It has been very pivotal because I'm sure there could have been kills here or there, but still looking pretty confident here in the life total, and will be killing off the Yang with that cross of 5P.
Very solid here. Just Deku hasn't really been able to get a handle on how this team wants to scramble, and just running away from the fences, but it gets a really nice grab here, able to get some momentum on the board. They can just catch this out and make something happen.
Into the super there, going to be putting that Seth in a very uncomfortable scenario. Runs up with the super, but you know what? Gets another super right back at you of your own. Get that out of here, as Seth is going to be getting a nice confirm. I think if there's some ability to cross rate, it might kill, but nah, I'm still going for the 2-1 versus one-touch situation. It's still looking rough here for E2 Deku.
Just one tap, regardless of what it might be, to make something happen here. But gets that nice Jade A, and just something happened here. The strike though working out nicely. Right, a burst just to try and keep things safe, but unfortunate orb placement. Too good, and Seth going down here.
Yeah, getting that 1v1 situation, but it's still very much in favor of Lotad. Some good defense so far. Has a glyph setup available and try to use it, but E2 Deku putting up that stop sign that is the 5A. Not out of it just yet, and gets the hit there with the JB. Has 3 bars available. Are you able to route into a kill? E2 Deku gets the Kara cancel and gets the comeback here against Lotad with a sliver of life left.
Yeah, excellent move by E2 Deku. Just, you know, as mentioned, just E2 Deku has a lot of tenure on their plate, and it was just unfazed by the mountain that they had to climb, and they just reached the peak and I think the first game on the board.
Yeah, like every decision they needed to make there was just the right call against Lotad. It was an uphill battle for sure. You know, Ruby definitely has some help in terms of climbing those mountains, but yeah, still very impressive stuff to E2 Deku. Go to the forcing out a team swap here to the Ori Batista.
You know, as I know this game is pretty egregious when it comes to a lot of like high-low left-right mix-ups. Out there, this is just a case in point that regardless of all that, Strike-Though can get it done.
Yeah, good defense so far. Lotad playing relatively aggressively compared to the last time around. Maybe opting for some setups there. Against the J2-1 for B, my beloved!
Oh, check the pins, but unfortunately gets opened up, and E2 Deku could be getting the metro shift that they needed, but hopefully Lotad, pretty comfortable on this team, can hopefully make something happen here.
Yeah, already in like a bit of an awkward situation there. Jumps over the Ruby super, not quite able to get it. Trying to J2-1 for B again! It's not in neutral at the very least. Ah, my god!
Oh no, Deku
This
just
some
playing with the chaos right now.
that somehow stabilized into a happy birthday. I don't know how, but Lotad, I don't think they can be very happy about what's going on, but right straight into the 4P. No one knows what's going on. Drops the combo here, gets the DP, blocks back into the Batista. Okay, some control has been left on the table here as they get the sandwich.
Oh, just trying to fight B. Unfortunately, not working out. It gets the DP blocked. What's going on? Deku definitely not happy about how that 3-0 went in winner's side and just trying to make something happen here.
I swear to God, every time I see that Ruby DP, it gets bigger. It just gets bigger, and Lotad down 2. This is we didn't get to see the set between the two in the winner's side of the bracket, but this is already a big turnaround in terms of score.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Lotad looking a little worse for wear, and I'd imagine with how the scores right now, a little uncharacteristic right now. Maybe Deku is feeling the hunger of being loser side. Walking in right now.
Yeah, but still maintaining the Ori Batista, as we saw in the winner's side of the bracket, like a very strong, has a very strong showing with this team overall. It's just like that. What the frick happened that game? The chaos, I think, got too much to Lotad and Deku. If they want one thing, they want that chaos.
They're definitely suited for it, and looking good, getting some offensive momentum at the beginning moments of this set, or this game. Trying to make something happen. Do it again. Just, oh god.
Yeah, and opting over to the super, keep it all burst safe, and getting a nice chunk of damage here on the Ruby. Good block of the level. Trying to go for another throw bait, but regardless, still maintaining that corner position here, able to get a punish on both characters, but nothing super substantial, all things considered.
And nice. Fortunately, he wasn't able to punish the burst somehow, but still, Lotad just taking not really too phased by it and just trying to get the momentum back in their favor. Open up once again, and just Lotad looking a lot more comfortable now.
For BTP, do it. Oh no, actually went for the grab. I think Deku was expecting something else there, and yeah, just kills off the Yang. This is looking great so far, but we saw what the Solar Ruby could do, and well, unfortunately, going to be a little tempered here. I'm pretty sure that still kills, even with this team's a little bit lackluster damage. Yeah.
Thankfully. And yeah, this Lotad, backs against the wall. They're not. I don't think they're messing around anymore.
Yeah, for sure. You know that little bit of a warm-up game. Very strong showcasing in that as well. But can you keep it up for the next two? We'll see.
And yeah, just I don't think Deku will even consider a swap because yeah, they have been successful for 2 games, so I think they just have to knuckle down and try and fight their way out.
Yeah, I think they didn't want a DP there. You know, Yang armor is pretty streaky, but good active swap. But unfortunately, jumps straight into a sandwich scenario, but actually able to get pushed out of it. Very good so far, and gets hit by the JC as well. Yeah, Lotad looking pretty strong here in the first part of this game.
Fucking double overhead, but still has to deal with some of this mix. Excellent work by Deku, but just gets opened up right there. And Karita burst, but unfortunately no dice, and he gets in pretty safely. But Lotad trying to scramble and gets an opening on the Ruby.
This is kind of a battle of 1,000 cuts, but you know, I was gonna say, you're getting 2 for the price of 1 there. Could have been a pivotal moment there for Lotad, but unfortunately, dropping the combo, allowing Deku to fire back. Does not block the delayed overheads either, but does they keep it all burst safe? No, not quite.
No dice, but it looks like, at the very least, Ruby is not going down here! Almost paid for their life there, but yeah, just that's where Lotad just trying to keep it back, and oh my god, all that armor actually just was able to kill the Yang because of it. Ultra Solar Ruby now.
Yeah, 4P still available. Trying to go for one of those classic throw baits. Puts up the wall too. Not going to be able to get a confirm here, but does safely bring in the Ori. Very high health available, but the Batista looking quite low, just trying to wall out. Gets the air confirmed, but a little bit of an awkward angle in order to get the confirmed there. That is some crazy shenanigans going on, but puts up another sandwich in there, but it perfectly push blocks in order to avoid the situation. Solo Aurier in the house.
Definitely still doable. And just another domain. No, not again.
Oh.
He's in Deku. That's 3 times.
J214B, my beloved.
This can't keep happening. This can't continue, man. Why is it working?
I mean, someone read the pit in the Ori channel. J214B neutral, even though it's not neutral.
If they, you know, it goes back to the old saying: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's working out, there is little reason to change if the opponent is not answering in.
Yeah, he gets a almost happy birthday there on the round start situation, but just gonna be opting for, oh yeah, a bit of too scalable combo. You know what? It was just a bait.
Flip low, also baiting the burst as well, and Lotad looking good in this game 5 here.
Yeah, going for a bit of an advanced 2-1-4-B setup and getting the punish as well. Unfortunately, with that conversion there and just getting hit on the landing, E2 Deku has quite the life total to surmount, and a nice double jump to avoid that cheeky, like, anti-air command grab setup. And once again, dropping the combo against the active swap block.
Well, I think you're blessing Lotad a bit too much there, but the momentum is going in E2 Deku's favor right now. Trying to go for a bust out super just to not deal with a lot of these situations. Orient safely and getting a nice. Oh no! A little too far from the corner for that to connect.
Yeah, ooh, trying to bait something out, and you know what? I think I blessed him perfectly fine there, and they're able to get the grab into the throw, gets the optimal Aurier confirmed as well. This does not kill. E2 Deku playing with fire a little bit here, not bursting out this Yang, kind of paying off here, able to get the safe swap.
Getting that J214A, and not going to kill this Ruby just quite yet. Bringing back in the Yang, just trying to mitigate as much damage as possible, but not looking good. And just gets clipped by that 4P, all up to Soul Ruby yet again.
Yeah, it gets the fake side swap there, goes in with a simple combo, and ultimate Lotad taking the set 3-2 over E2 Deku with the reverse sweep here. The Aurier Batista comp proving to be vital with their success.
Really nice work there. You know, just was able to make the adjustments and able to take the game and just... Oh gosh, yeah, it was really looking a little dire there, but I think you know, the Aurier player kinship really kicked in. We're able to bless a lot of the things that Lotad was doing, especially in that last game there. The active switch block and the just being immune to TRM.
Yeah. Always gotta look out for my fellow Aurier players, you know?
Look, I understand.
Regardless. Yeah. But yeah, regardless, we will be going on to our losers final determining match, Detective Fro versus Lotad. Both of them kind of itching to get their run back against Sodakun in the winner's side of Grand Finals. Both of these players putting in quite the number against Sodakun despite ultimately falling against them. Those sets were incredibly close, and they're fighting to see if they're able to kind of strike magic once more. But, you know, on the loser side of the bracket, has to make those adaptations. You gotta win 2 sets too, so it's gonna be difficult. But they have a big challenge right in front of them, fighting against each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be, I'd say, a pretty interesting, because Detective Crow, as we mentioned before, really fast-paced, really wants to be in your face like player. Well, Lotad, they can switch up on offense and defense on a dime. So I think one of the deciding factors is Lotad going to be able to just their offense, or can Lotad really just able to keep a solid wall?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be one of those the snapping turtle versus gorilla type of matches I was talking about earlier. But yeah, like I said, Lotad is a very adaptable player. I wouldn't describe him as particularly overly defensive or offensive. Really knows how to weave in and out and utilize Aurie's tools to their greatest momentum here. And unfortunately, getting parried out of the situation and getting punished in turn, the Detective Pro starting off pretty strongly.
Looking pretty good, and a solid push block to get a happy birthday. And this will be a nice bit of damage on the board. Akatsuki falls out for just getting a BZO setup. And this is one of the things with this team. Unfortunately, it has one of the flaws that, Akatsuki does have the parry DP to just, so blocking the BZO in the air isn't as scary.
Yeah, definitely. And a very good call. It actually got hit by the AZO, but called the assist just in time there. Sets up the sandwich scenario. Able to actually jump out of the situation and get a happy birthday of their own. I think that might be curtains here for Lotad. As long as there's a stabilization, yeah, goes into the Atom Smasher, and just like that, taking the first game.
Really nice work, and just we're showcasing some of that just that boldness that Detective Crow, especially in that opening moment where Detective Crow realized that they're Ori has a really solid mid range, so 1-4A is trying to clip the legs, but just Detective Crow ready for a parry and able to punish and just on that momentum just went in their face.
Yeah, and I think with the addition of Akatsuki, it's going to be a bit harder for Ori that to kind of function as it might to. It relies a lot on projectiles and assists, which all can be parried by Akatsuki. But I think Ori, I guess, a bit of an interesting swap. A very low tad team. They're one of the only players that do operate with it. But I think it's going to be good overall. It focuses less on getting like assist pressure going on there and more just getting like a solid hit or like solid block pressure or block string available and swapping into the Aegis to get stuff going, which can mitigate a lot of Akatsuki's deal here. But starting off once again with the pressure here, going to be setting up that BZO setup, but a nice block on the 5C. Unfortunately, did not have a mismuted in 2-6C.
Detective Crow being able to just put out a solid wall against that right now, but bursting the Aegis in until they get some offense going here. But Detective Crow, a bit of a wild child, and Lotad just doing a quick stop to the brakes on their offense just to try and make something happen. Unfortunately, that 4P is just has no horizontal hitbox.
Yeah, he goes with their block. I can't believe Ori is still in this combo. Yeah, the combo timer on her ran out, so she fell out of the situation. And Detective Crow able to get the conversion too. He is definitely on a roll here with these callouts.
Looking good so far. And, Detective Crow, or Lotad able to get some solid damage. Akatsuki, off of a punished 5C, took 8k, so looking good. Only with 1 meter. So they're looking pretty solid so far, but just, again, the Nazi 5P just allowing another BZO setup to happen. Or got some Mandala instead. Akatsuki will be going down here, all of the solo Adachi.
Yeah, just push blocks the Adachi, doesn't want to have to deal with any shenanigans so far. Does the good old classic 5C DP not working out here? Thankfully, not going to be a huge amount of damage, but yeah, just going to be bringing in the Ori to do most of the work here, putting to the one-touch situation again. Got to be careful with the mix. As long as there's a... Oh, wow, that was some excellent navigation from Detective Crow. Was able to avoid the situation completely and get the kill on the Ori, leaving the solo. I guess this is going to be rough.
Aegis has really some good close range offensive prowess, but the thing is with the Adachi can wall them out, and yeah, Detective Crow believing in the 2B, blessings from Bojack, and they're up to.
Yeah, the Aegis play, I think, wasn't necessarily not working out. I think they had some opportunities to get her in and start her momentum, but just Detective Crow was really on point on utilizing some of their own defensive options to avoid those situations, and was always ready for those gaps that you put in. Yeah, Lotad, you know what? Not playing around. They want their rope against so they can bring out the Weiss Ori in order to make this reverse sweep happening. Their main team.
I think this is I wouldn't say a return to form, but just like Lotad in their finest essence.
Weiss, it seems we are
So hopefully, I think we'll see just as mentioned before. With these character switches, we'll see them at their most comfortable. I think that's what matters, especially in these kinds of matches.
Yeah, ooh, mistimes the parry a little bit, opting to go for a sandwich scenario. Definitely seeing Lotad being a bit less liberal with the 4P calls. Knows that it's a very good point for Akatsuki to have to parry, but looking very strong so far. Gets hit by the JB, but thankfully no full conversion.
Detective Crow taking the offense to Lotad, getting a nice air-to-air and getting a solid OD situation, but once he gets clipped by that 6P, but nothing to come out of it, and just a reset back to, I suppose, neutral, but not looking too good for Lotad right now in terms of health down.
CC is available, but all this lockstone and pressure, you're gonna run out both of them. No I just over the Akatsuki, so it's gonna be a little tempered there. Gets a punish question mark on the Adachi on the landing. This is gonna be their time to get going. Gets the instant overhead check as well, but does not keep it all burst safe here.
Oh no, I think that is a pivotal DP punish, and yeah, should be able to kill the Weiss. Most likely going to be all up to Solo Aurier from here. Yeah, that's definitely no.
Right, yeah. Level 4 Resonance available. Solo Aurier, not a horrible solo character by any means, but this is going to be quite the mountain that she has to climb. Maybe like 2 solid hits on both characters, but can you even get them here? The DP is available. Detective Crow not blocking, and suddenly this is a very even game. Level 4 Resonance on both sides. This is dangerous, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, try to go for a Bitatsu, but the really strong JA from Aurier able to catch Akatsuki in the air and just run out the entire resistance time. Does not have to deal with an Astral in play, but one-touch situation for both sides here on out.
Yeah, double overhead working again, but not quite able to get the kill. Aurier, I think, has the matchup advantage here, and that 2-3-6C check going to be able to seal the deal. Lotad losing their Weiss, but proven why, Lotad has his old nickname, is the best Aurier NA. Definitely proven it there with that solo comeback.
Very solid. I think at this point, Akatsuki and Adachi has been working out very well for them. They still do have a double team to them. I think this is a team that they'll just stick with overall, because at the end of the day, it was effectively a one-touch situation that closed out that last. So it's not really much of a.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely see a good swap over to their Ragna Adachi, but this is what I would consider their main team, like what they're most comfortable with. Excellent spacing to avoid that Bitatsu, getting a little bit of a punish on the Adachi, able to actually get some space in order to zone them out, but Crow finding their way in with that 5C, hits the low as well, and does not burst at the right time. Unfortunate here for Lotad, they're taking quite a bit of damage.
Nice throw break to try and make something happen, but unfortunately, that 6P does launch pretty close to the edge of the stratosphere, and I don't think Aurier is dead.
I don't believe she's dead, yeah, but that's the one-touch situation. It's the 5C, try to get her out, and a 4P call going to be a nice opportunity to do such, get in a little bit of damage, keep that Aurier safe as well, but unfortunately gets smacked up. But the last of the 5P, and Detective Crow able to get a pretty solid confirm.
Nice reaction to the command grab and is able to avoid it, and Lotad slowly trying to mount the life tolls to be a little more even, but Aurier can't take another hit like that. I think they need to play a bit more of a solo Weiss game at the moment.
Yeah, try to bait out the parries. Oh my god, how much do you want to play with Aurier's life? Lotad says very much so. Playing very patiently. Try to call out something with the Ice Super, but just guys called out on their own. Thankfully, not dead. And now Weiss is in a similar position to Aurier. Yeah, the gloves are off the table. Able to get the confirm here. But will they be able to build a bar in order to kill? Yes!
I don't think it's enough, especially since it's a 2-hit super. Yeah, just with the sliver of health left. But getting the punish, and yeah, just the max range 2-4-8. All up to solo Akatsuki, but unfortunately that Weiss is going down. It's all up to solo Aurier. Woo!
Yeah, using that opportunity to get the safe President's Call. This is very dangerous here, I think, for Detective Crow. Ore has really good rooting into her Astral, but I don't think... Can she stall in time to get it? No, not quite. Just going to be opting to go and run out that Resonance. Gets that confirmed here. Watch a situation, especially with the Resonance Call here. Yeah, building up another chip. Trying to call something out here. Detective Crow wanting none of that. Once again, I think one-touch scenario on either side, depending on how good the hit is.
Oh, and an excellent, yeah, just able to meet Detective Crow in the air with the very good JA from Aurier and bringing this to a game.
Yeah, everything has been so close so far. Lotad, important to note just how painfully low both of his characters were through that entire game, and was able to just utilize Aurier in a way that, like, calls her out to pressure some things, but, like, was just safe enough to not die, and that was very pivotal to maintain their pressure. Forcing out a swap to the Adachi Ragna here for this last game. This will be what they will ride and die with. Game 5 coming out here in order to see who wins against Sonic Kun. And starting off with a happy birthday.
Thankfully, Aurier dropped out, but no, Aurier dropped back in. This is not looking good, but it's clipped low. Thankfully, not looking too good right now, but no, it's a rough start for Lotad in these opening moments.
Yeah, able to get some hits, but no full confirms here. Does bait the anti-air 5B with the 5P of their own. Gets that quarter positioning here. Sets up some pretty nasty scenarios, but jumping out of those setups has the cross combo available. Goes straight into the super. Solo Ore is going to need to make an insane comeback in order to make this happen.
Aurier coming in about half health, and especially with this team's insane damage output with the right starter, this could definitely just be a one-touch situation. Aurier got to knuckle down, fight for their life, but gets thrown. I don't think this might be it, actually.
Yeah, this team does a lot of damage. Ragna has a great cash out option, or, going into the Adachi. No, it doesn't kill, giving her another chance at life, but how long can you last against this swarm that's coming up there, but gets crossed up by the 236B. The Ragna Adachi swap proving to be just enough here for a very definitive last game. Detective Crow winning against Lotad and getting their run back against Sonic Kun.
Excellent work to Detective Crow, just, the character swap worked out in dividends. As you mentioned, earned their spot. But excellent work to Lotad. Just a lot of these nail biter sets, especially with this set and the one before that, really working out nicely. Fortunately, we'll be falling there, getting third, getting a couple dollars here. So, off at, especially with how long this bracket has been so far in terms of the contenders. It all boils down to this, with Grand Finals being a run back from winners. Sonic Kun sitting in the winner's side, and Detective.
Yes. I will be back with some water. There was definitely some very intense set, but I do believe there are some Matcherino contributions to read out here, but we will be getting on to our Grand Finals match in just a moment.
While Alana's grabbing some water, let me go check. Yes, there
are a
is.
couple. Yep.
Okay, so thank you, Thomas, for the $10 with the comment. I could be well on Uma instead. Much appreciated, Tommy. Love you. Hope to see you again soon. And also, from W Rhino, aka Dyson, from Japan, with $3 saying BBTAG power from Japan. Thank you very much. I'll say arigatou gozaimashita. So, much appreciated seeing the love from the JP scene over here. Thank you again to both Thomas and Dyson. Really nice to see that.
Dyson's always my goat, man. Like, the amount of, I guess, time and the amount of dedication that he showed, and hospitality, I'll say, that he showed me and everyone who ended up going to Japan last year was fantastic. Dyson, if you're hearing this, much love, and, as mentioned by E30 as well, arigatou gozaimasu. And, yeah, Again, can't thank you enough for all the hospitality you showed us while we were over there, and hopefully, again soon, if things work out.
Yes, yes. Just hearing that, I feel like I could also speak for that. お世話になってます. Thank you again, and hopefully in the future we will have opportunity able to meet. It'll be fun. I've heard a lot about the Japan trip, and hopefully hopefully there'll be another opportunity, and whether here in the US or on their home.
I am back, by the way.
Like Lon is back, and it looks like we'll be getting into it. Grand finals against Sonny-kun versus Detective Crow. Sonny-kun in the winner side of the bracket, and losers. And we have another $1 donation by Gooseman Gaming himself. And with the comment, someone please get Atkins a glizzy. My boy has 2 empty hands locked and loaded, just waiting to grab a glizzy. Hot dogs. Thank you, Gooseman. Shouts to Gooseman Gaming. But yeah, enough pleasantries aside, we're going into grand finals. Sonny-kun versus Detective.
Yeah, this was a incredibly close set between the two. Sonny-kun, I think, coming out with the advantage on the latter half of the set, but it was almost a reverse sweep on Sonny-kun, or on Crow's side. Other with the Adachi Ragnar, the team that gave them most success, and we'll see how it operates here.
Not looking too good in these opening sets, with Sonny-kun getting a very nice read. That's translating into 8.8k, but a DP will stop some of that pressure.
Expecting the Gauntlet Hades there, just getting checked by the low, and also go for the Devoured by Darkness in order to get a good chunk of life back. Another Gauntlet Hades, and suddenly that heart is looking quite low, but yeah, that is a very punishable move, and maybe he's dead for it. Not quite.
Not quite. Try to extend as much as possible to try and just block out the burst that was incoming from Detective Crow, but not looking too good right now. Sonny-kun just trying to get the pressure going. Life totals are a bit even right now, but Detective Crow making a bold statement now with bringing back in the rocket.
Yeah, I'm perfectly swapped out in time as well, but gets the cross up here. They're a very back and forth game so far, but I think that this is very solidly in Sonny-kun's hands right now.
And good, just resetting back to the neutral. Sonny-kun, I feel like overall the life totals are about even. Never mind, Adachi's dead. I'll love to solo Ragnar now, but gets clipped by that really long backward hitbox in the KB, and Sonny-kun taking the first game.
Man, yeah, that's a... I was commentating on the winter final side of the game that Detective was very conservative when it comes to the BZO like laser setups, and we saw a bit more of him trying to implement it there, and just kind of seeing the reason why that aggressive playstyle worked out so well. Sonny-kun always tries to save meters for those S call out supers. They are really strong, really hard to punish, and do quite a bit of damage for what they are, especially on Persona breaks. So always gotta be careful about how you throw out projectiles against his S, because he's usually ready for it.
And there, I'd go into it later, but it's just always that threatening point of, if Sonny-kun has 2 meter, you gotta be ready for something. But 5C to open up this game 2 in the grand finals, and pretty good right now. Trying to call out the DP, but unfortunately a little too high to punish.
Yeah, just trying to chase him down, use those 4 pieces defensively, and able to get the burst punish as well. Detective Pro kind of swinging for the fences here, not looking as just about as confident as they were in the winter side of things, but not quite able to strike lightning again when it comes to the success.
Oh no. Yeah, a bit unfortunate right there. Sonny-kun, like, especially with how Detective Pro's been using the fight, so you try to hit him with his own medicine. Fortunately, enough tolerance makes you immune, and Art not looking too good, and S thankfully got out of dodge because that 5A was a max range hit.
Yeah, an excellent push block. Going to be avoiding that 5BB and getting the instant overhead check as well. Doesn't have a meter to kill as always, but you know, face the DP. Sony-kun getting this distinct advantage here with this 2v1 situation.
Pretty good. Getting the 5B, getting opened up, unfortunately didn't confirm it to a full combo. And just a raw 5B in neutral like that against a dodgy ball character has actually worked out. Just showcasing the tenure and just the experience that Sonic-kun has on basketball.
Yeah, try to go for the anti-air. Really believed in the 2B that time, and you know, this is looking very similar to the winner side of the bracket. 2-0 for Sony-kun. On their way to just winning the entire tournament. Will Crow be able to make the adaptations in order to make a reverse sweep happen?
Definitely still doable as Detective Crow, as you mentioned, you know, kind of reminiscent of how winners finals went, but Detective Crow has a couple of teams to consider, and looks like they're going to bet it all on the Akatsuki, which is an interesting point. And I think maybe the intention is just, I mean, win neutral once or twice and just try and loop the unblockable.
Yeah, that definitely is probably the plan going forward, but this is a team they're not as comfortable with, so are they able to make up the deficit here? Because they are going to need to make 3 games possible happen, and immediately getting sniped out here with the S is not a great start.
And good so far in this game 3 here. Only trying to make something happen here, but just not really able to get a beat on anything, but just a tech forward into the JA, working out pretty nicely, and I think this is where the momentum shift is going to start.
Yeah, gets the mark here. Consider the life totals, that's going to be a really great equalizer, but did lose a lot of momentum in order to do it, but might be able to just get it. Thankfully, S was able to get out of the situation, but Sony... What?
What? Unfortunate!
Oh,
and I think that's
my
going
God.
to be a Dedekotsuki for that!
Oh my god, okay. Surigani coming in. Bit of ridiculous setup. Able to set the Hama, but like this super low. Gets the DP and that's it. My boys got massacred, bruh.
Oh my god, that is like the way that the 2G6B hit made it look like a set 214B right there and picked up accordingly. Unfortunate, but you know that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, and Sonic-kun takes it 3-0 over to
Yeah, just, you know, they were feeling like, you know, the winter setup bracket was feeling a little too uncomfortable for me. Let